Lowell Park with Coach Mike Roberts.
Okay. I'm telling you guys, though, that monologue that
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Lowell Park. My name is Josh Rothstein. I'm joined by Ben Gainsborough. Tonight, this afternoon's matchup is the Cotuit Kettleers against the Orleans Firebirds. And, you know, after this game, both teams have their Fenway workout tomorrow. So even though that's, an off day on the schedule, it's a busy day. And then after that, the games come in quick succession with all the rainouts. Most of the days off in July and even pushing into doubleheader territory have been used. So coming out of the Fenway workout, Orleans has 17 straight games. Meanwhile, Cotuit on pace for 23. So it's, today and through the rest of the season, both teams' depth and ability to hit up and down the lineup is going to be tested. Cotuit had some momentum coming off the sweep of Brewster in Sunday's doubleheader. It kind of stalled a little bit Tuesday night in Chatham. An interesting game, some controversial calls, and eventually Cotuit couldn't just get the hit they needed, Ben.
Yeah, Josh, interesting is the perfect term for that game. Neither team played poorly in that game, but also neither team really outplayed the other all that much. Jackson Wolf got the start for Cotuit, and if there has been a area of weakness so far for Cotuit this year, it's been that starting pitching, but that was not the case yesterday. Wolf's first start had come about a week prior, and in that start, his first inning was definitely a little rocky. He walked a few guys, let in an early run. Coach actually had to go out and settle him down. This start was much different. He was lights out from the get-go. He had 7 strikeouts, only allowed 2 hits. Unfortunately for him, those 2 hits were both home runs. And for Cotuit, they only had 5 hits in the game and only 1 extra base hit. Both Will and I have talked about it. 3 is the special number for Cotuit so far this year. When they have hit 3 or more extra base hits, they are 5-0-1. When they've hit 2 or less, they are 1-5. So look for that special number 3 today versus Orleans. Back to you.
All right, thanks, Ben. Orleans sits a half game better than Cotuit thus far this season at just 6-4-1. They've really gone with the pitching staff. That's really helped them to those 6 wins. As you mentioned, Cotuit needs the extra base hits to, usually win the game. Orleans is pretty stingy with how they give up their extra base hits in their pair of 1-0 doubleheader wins over Wareham on Sunday, 2 1-0 wins. They gave up just 1 extra base hit in both games combined, and just 3 walks as well. So that pitching staff has really been dynamic for the Firebirds thus far this season. They have had 7 starters who have pitched more than 4 innings and haven't given up a run, and so that's pretty impressive from their point of view. The guys get in the game and stay in for quite a while and don't give up a lot of runs. Today's starter is one of those examples. He's probably been their best pitcher this season, Adam Seminaris, a junior out of Long Beach State, today's projected starter. He has a 1-0 record. He's thrown 8 2/3 innings, 4 strikeouts, and no walks over his almost complete game stuff over 2 starts. So he pounds the zone, puts guys, gets his defense working, and they're usually right to him. Those guys usually make the plays. So look, that's something to look out for in today's game. Cotuit's going to try and maybe work his pitch count a little bit, get in a good spot in the count, and hopefully be able to get a good pitch they like. Offensively for Orleans, it's Max Traimi who leads their way at the top of their order. He's a senior out of Bentley. He leads the league in average, hitting .378, and he's on a 4-game hitting streak, in which he's 7 out of his last 15. They also do have a little power in their lineup. Raymond Gill and Josh Zamora, both juniors, Miami and Nevada respectively. They have 2 home runs each. So Orleans is led by their pitching staff, but they do have some offensive pop in their lineup. Ben, thanks so much. We'll send it up to Sam and Aram for their thoughts pregame.
We're at Lowell Park for a 5 o'clock ball game. We're finally back on Mixler. Thank you, Mixler, for going back up. Thank you for bearing with us, following us to YouTube, Mixler, back to YouTube, back to Mixler. We're on Mixler, hopefully for good for the rest of the season. It's Aram Layton alongside my partner, Sam Niederman. We have a matchup at Lowell Park between the Orleans Firebirds and the Cotuit Kettleers. Orleans comes in at 6-4-1. The Kettleers at 6-5-1. Of course, yesterday's game for Cotuit was rained out, another rain out for the Kettleers. It's been a battle versus nature all summer long in Cape Cod. It was supposed to be a game at Wareham. It'll be rescheduled to later in the season. Of course, Orleans did not get their game in either. Both teams coming into today doing pretty well, as I mentioned the records, but playing opposite kind of baseball, right? Cotuit coming in mostly offense, mashing the ball, not hitting for a batting average. They've kind of been living and dying by the long ball. We talk about the 14 home runs coming into today. The next most is 9. What do you see in this Cotuit offense? Of course, they're only hitting .228. That's 8th in the league. What do they need to do to improve? Obviously, they're driving in runs, but the consistency isn't there.
Well, make contact. That's the first step, Arm, and you'll hear from Coach Mike Roberts in our pregame interview, and he'll allude to that a little bit more. It's just kind of today's game of baseball, right? Live and die by the home run, strike out a lot, and hope that you score enough runs by hitting it out of the yard. And that's kind of how the Kettleers have run so far at the plate, and that's all right. They've got guys that they can continue to develop and making better at-bats and making more contact at the plate. They're up against a really tough task today in Orleans, though, an excellent pitching side.
And we'll get into that Orleans staff. Of course, for Cotuit, the pitching has tailed off. They're 8th in the league with a 4.13 ERA. But that Orleans staff, you mentioned, number 1 in the league with a 2.58 ERA. Opponents hitting barely over 200 against them. That's been their mantra. It's pitching and defense. They're last in the league in runs scored, but it hasn't been a problem for them because they've been pitching so well. Of course, their manager, Kelly Nicholson, he was a longtime pitching coach at Loyola Marymount. Now he joins Orleans. You told me it's a little bit off the air before. It's a little bit of his mantra, his whole career here, and that's something he's built at Orleans as a pitching-centered team.
This is a signature Kelly team in Orleans, and they're looking to get back on track. Last season, a despicable season if you're a Firebird fan. Only 12 wins, missed out on the playoffs for the first time in a long time. Not what you would expect out of Orleans, but this year they're back to form, and it starts on the mound. Number 1 pitching staff in the Cape League, have allowed the least runs in the Cape League so far at 28. They've only scored 35 runs themselves in total through 11 ball games, but when you're only giving up 28, that's all you got to need, and they're at the tie almost for first place in Eastern Division, just a half a game out at Chatham. This is a team that is going to throw a lot of strikes. They're going to pitch by committee. Kelly Nicholson likes to rotate his pitchers early on, so we'll see a couple of arms throughout the course of this contest, and even on Friday's road trip to Orleans. The Kettleers are up against a really good staff, a staff coached by Kelly Nicholson that has now led the Cape in ERA 7 of his 18 seasons as a manager or pitching coach with the Firebirds. That's an incredible stat.
That's unbelievable because we talk about all the talent and the fluctuations that teams have in talent. To have that consistency with pitching is something, like we said, Nicholson bases his team off of. We'll get into the pitching matchup today. Of course, Cotuit countering the Orleans pitching with one of their better arms so far this year in Joe Nahas. He hasn't made a start yet. He's had 2 appearances out of the bullpen, and he struck out 13 in just 8 innings. He's looked really strong. He's looked like a back-end guy that Coach Roberts said he planned on using as a closer a little bit. Decides to go with him as a starter today. What can you tell us about Joe Nahas?
Well, it's interesting that we get to see Nahas as a starter because of that closer projected role, and I think a little bit of the weather had to do something with that. But he's got life on his fastball. That's where he's put the money in the bank this summer. A lot of life, low to mid-90s, pitches with a lot of adrenaline, and when he gets it going, he can get it going. We saw him at his best against the Brewster Whitecaps, a 3-inning outing that was originally supposed to just be like, hey, finish up this inning kind of outing, and he finished up the game, 3 innings with 6 strikeouts. He made his mark there, and now he gets a start on the mound. Excited to see if he can chew up 3 or 4 innings and hopefully get some help with his offense to exit the ball game with a lead.
And of course for Orleans, of course it's going to be a guy with a good ERA, but you can't get much better than Adam Seminaris right now. 2 outings. He has yet to give up a run in 8 2/3 innings. He's a left-hander out of Long Beach State. What do you know about Seminaris, and what can the Kettleers do to counter the southpaw?
Well, lefties have been the problem for Cotuit at the plate. We've talked about that a lot. The splits between righties and lefties, a big discrepancy, over 50 points in batting average. And this is a Kettleer lineup that you're going to look at the top, and you got Robinson, a left-handed bat, Shavers, a left-handed bat, Arajanu, the switch hitter, Colton Kessler, a left-handed bat, and Cam Hill at the bottom of the order. But there are some righties sprinkled in there today, and I think Mike Roberts recognizes those troubles against lefties, and as far as the adjustments at the plate, Cotuit's got to find a way to be patient in the count, not really lunge at many breaking balls, and Seminaris has been really solid early on.
We'll toss it to the interview that you alluded to, Sam, you can listen to Mike Roberts for a minute while we do the national anthem. We'll be back after this brief break.
Getting ready for the Orleans Firebirds at Lowell Park with Coach Mike Roberts. Coach, let's start on the mound. Jonah Haas gets the ball for your club today. He's had 3 appearances, pumped it up with the velocity some. What have you liked from him, and what can he improve on from his last outing?
Well, I like his maturity. I think he's just a veteran college pitcher, and it's hard to find those. He's going into his senior year, and he's pitched quite a bit at Georgia Southern, and he's just mature on the mound. And I think if he doesn't have great stuff, I do think he has the ability and also the experience to what I call finesse it, hopefully. And so I'm looking forward. I really like watching him pitch. I'm looking forward to seeing him tonight.
How do you assess what Coach Spence has been able to do with your pitchers so far, having him back here in Cotuit? How have you seen him develop these guys, and what is the kind of style that he brings with his coaching?
Well, I don't know that he necessarily has a style. I think together we've tried to say, okay, the first thing we need to do is throw strikes, and we need to get guys out there who can throw strikes with more than one pitch. And Coach Spence had great secondary pitches that he could throw for strikes, and if I had to say probably what he helps them with is making sure they can throw those secondary pitches over and throw them over in any count.
Colton Kessler got off to a little bit of a slow start. He's come around the last few ball games, put together a lot of good at-bats. What have you been working on with him, and what have you seen that's been different in the last couple ball games?
Well, kind of the same with just about every hitter we have, and that's trying to shorten everybody up. The average college hitter has a very long swing, and it's a shoulder swing. Most of them come in here and they let go of the bat almost before they make contact with the ball, and it doesn't work very well with a wood bat. And so I think, I watch him in the cage and as we take BP, and he's really worked to shorten his swing. Now, is it short enough? The other night at Harwich when he was the last hitter of the game and got the fastball thrown by him, it wasn't short enough, and that happens to all of us. But I do think then he turned around at Chatham the other night in the first inning and drove a ball fairly deep to drive in the first run for us at Chatham. So I do think, as you have stated, I do think he's made some progress. He's made some adjustments, and the primary adjustment is his stride is shorter and his hands are a little shorter.
Do you like choking up with the 2-strike count as a batter?
I like choking up any time. There's too many strikeouts in baseball.
Gotcha.
Too many strikeouts in baseball. We need to make more contact in 1 strike, no strikes, 2 strikes, so that we never get to the point where there's 3 strikes and the ball's put in play. And I think baseball players today are way too greedy. And when I played 122 years ago or somewhere in that area, is that when we came back to the dugout, and if you hadn't made contact, somebody got mad at you. And like I told them, if you high-five somebody come back to the dugout after you struck out, just keep walking right on out that gate, okay? Because that's not what we're looking for. So I do like choking up. Look at Barry Bonds, 700 and some home runs, and he choked up. So that's all you need.
All righty, Coach. Let's make some contact today, and we'll see you out there on the diamond. Thank you.
Let's make some contact. That'll be good. All right, thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Okay,
Thank you, Coach. That was the fascinating and candid Coach Roberts on the interview. It's always a blast to interview him, isn't it, Sam?
Oh, yeah. Always great to catch up with Coach, and his old-school approach, it just never changes. I love the conversation about choking up with 2 strikes and just having a short approach. No matter what, it's something to look for throughout the rest of the summer as he develops these Cotuit players, and it's going to be something to look for today because the Kettleers are going to have to be sharp against that Orleans pitching.
As we have a conference right now between the 2 coaches, we'll go through the lineups real quick. Of course, first for the visiting Orleans Firebirds, leading off is Zach Daniels playing center field. Batting second is Zach Kokoska playing right field. Batting third is Tanner Murray manning the hot corner. Max Toriani batting fourth and playing left field. He's actually leading the Cape in batting average. We'll get more on him when he gets to the plate. Eddie McCabe batting fifth and playing shortstop. Ray Gill at first, batting sixth, and Danny Soretti batting seventh, playing second. David Avatia catching and batting eighth, and Shea Whitcomb will be the DH, rounding things out. For the defense, as the Cotuit Kettleers take the field, it'll be Parker Shavers in left, Cam Hill in center, Christian Robinson in right, Casey Schmidt at third, Adam Oviedo at short, Nick Gonzalez at second base. A new looker Mason McCorder, and we'll get our first look at him at first base. He's a teammate of the starting pitcher for the Kettleers, Joe Nahas, who's on the mound, and Colton Kessler will be the catcher in today's ball game. So, of course, Joe Nahas making his first start of the year. It's his third appearance. We talked about it a little bit in the pregame show. Striking out batters at the highest rate on the Kettleers team right now, 13 strikeouts and 8 innings of work. Now in a starter's role, what do you expect from Joe Nahas? What does he need to do? Is it any different than coming out of the bullpen?
I think he just got to get off to a good start here, Arm. His last outing was the shakiest. He was on the hook for a loss against Harwich on Saturday. Went 2 innings in that contest, gave up 2 runs on 3 hits, walked 1 man, and struck out 4, which has been his trademark. A problem was he was getting knocked around a little bit, and the defense didn't help him in a couple of instances. I think he's just got to get off to a good start. When he retires the leadoff batter, he puts himself in a good position. I like him out of the windup. That obviously helps velocity a little bit more. And when he can go downhill with that fastball and set up hitters for his breaking stuff, that's when he's most effective.
And we'll see how he can do that, because we mentioned out of the bullpen, he might not see a lineup a couple times around, but Jackson Wolf the other day in Chatham ended up being stretched out. He entered into the 6th inning, went 5 2/3, and once it got to the 3rd time around in that lineup, it seemed like Chatham started to settle in a little bit. Not sure how long Coach Roberts plans to use Joe Nahas today, but we'll see how the lineup fares as the lineup comes back around 2nd or 3rd times. So we'll get ready to start this ball game here. Zach Daniels, the leadoff hitter. He's from Tennessee. The speedster plays center field. So Daniels hit just .200 this past season, 4 home runs, 29 strikeouts, looking to build and improve in the summer. A lot of players tend to do that in the Cape Cod League. First pitch of the ball game, fastball that misses down for ball 1. You heard J.J. Blade, played in the Cape League last year, hit 4 home runs going into just last season, hit 27 this past spring, and now is playing in the championship game in the World Series against Michigan. And he credits the Cape Cod League for his jump in power as his fastball misses high. It's 2-0. Blade, of course, played for the Firebirds. He had a great year, hit .311 last summer, 5 home runs, was tabbed the best prospect in the Cape League as Nahas pumps the first strike of the ball game. It's 2-1. So Nahas out of the windup, faces the right-handed hitting Daniels. Slightly closed stance bat just above the shoulder. Checks his swing, but it's a called strike on the outer half. It's 2-2. 94 on the gun for Joe Nahas. Daniels, the white cleats, black sleeve, high socks showing red, and the Orleans team is in a red jersey with white letters across the chest. Swing and a miss. Got him on a fastball. So Nahas bounces back after falling behind 2-0 with 3 straight strikes. And that's the first out of the ball game. Got Zach Daniels swinging.
Well, it's Joe Nahas. He's back with the strikeout. That's a good start that you're looking for out of this right-hander.
That brings up Zach Kokoska. He's the right fielder in today's ball game. Bats from the left side. First pitch is a fastball right down the middle. Strike 1. Kokoska from Kansas State. He transferred over from Virginia Tech. He'll be a junior this coming spring. Had a great year in Kansas. Hit .330, 8 home runs, 7 doubles, drove in 31. So he breaks a bat on a flare out to the shortstop Oviedo. He comes around it, fires over to first, but the throw will not get there in time. Kokoska is able to leg it out for an infield single. So a good pitch there by Nahas. Was able to run the fastball in on the left-handed hitting Kokoska. But he hit that little soft spot between short and third. Oviedo tried to come around it, but it was just too difficult of a play to get the speedy Kokoska.
Good observation, my friend. He did make a good pitch and almost got the results out of it, but that's a tough play for Ovi. A weak little dribbler to him, and he did the most that he could with it.
That brings up Tanner Murray. will be the 3-hitter today, playing third base out of UC Davis. Another guy who had a great spring, 367, 16 doubles. He led the team in virtually every statistic. Batting average, runs, hits, doubles, triples, RBIs, and slugging at UC Davis. He was a 2019 All-Big West Conference first team. 2018 Big West Freshman of the Year. Pretty decorated player at UC Davis in Murray. First pitch blows a fastball by him, 96 on the gun from Nahas.
Another West Coast guy, Kelly Nicholson, is a Cali guy, Cali roots, and he likes to pick up all the Cali players. Plenty of them from his LA area. And UC Davis with Tanner Murray here.
So Nahas out of the stretch. The 0-1 pitch blows another fastball by him. 95. We're seeing Nahas throw a little bit extra on these out of the starting role.
Yeah, he's fresh. That's the thing. He hasn't pitched since Saturday, but even before that, he had a lot of time off, scheduled starts, and outings out of the pen kept on getting pushed back with the rain. He's ready to rock and roll.
And Murray's a tough strikeout. Only struck out 15 times in 195 at-bats as Nahas picks over to first base. Kokoska back easily. Just 15 strikeouts in 195 at-bats. That was one of the best strikeout rates in college baseball. So he's behind 0-2 here. He'll try and stay alive. On deck is Max Triani. Nahas looks down from the stretch, checks on the runner at first. The 0-2 pitch misses up and away. It's a fastball. So 1-2 to the 3-hitter, Tanner Murray. Kokoska has not moved from first base. Decent sized lead. Nahas checks on him, comes set, holds at the belt, kicks and deals the 1-2, blows it by him, strike 3. Second strikeout of the inning for Nahas. There's 2 away, and here comes the cleanup hitter. Current league leader in batting average, Max Troiani.
Fastball is just scooting right past these hitters early on, Arm. 94 on that last one. Climbed up the ladder to get Murray.
And what a story Troiani's been. One of the few Division II guys in this Cape League. Of course, Cotuit has 2 of their own, both the Belmont Abbey guys, Mason Dodd and Beck Way. But not only is Max Troiani holding his own, he's leading the league in batting average, and he's batting cleanup for the Firebirds. Kokoska's on the run. The throw from Kessler is on the money, but Kokoska just gets in there ahead of the tag from Nick Gonzalez.
Well, the word on the street on Troiani, Arm, is that he is so used to playing with a wood bat in the NE10 with Bentley University that is what has made this such a smooth transition for him here in the Cape League. And he credits his success to that. He just says, I know how to handle it. It's just up against better pitching.
And that's a great point. One of the few collegiate leagues to use a wood bat, and a nice little advantage. Fastball called strike. It's 1-1. So a good spot for Nahas here. He's got to try and strand the runner at second base in Kokoska. Nice little test for him. He's been pretty good at stranding runners with the 15 strikeouts now he already has in just 8 2/3 innings this season as he comes set. Checks on Kokoska at second, who takes another shuffle off the bag. No one holding him on. He'll do an inside move and make him retreat back to second. So an even 1-1 count, 2 outs here. On deck is Eddie McCabe, the shortstop. Triotti from the right side. The 1-1. Blew another fastball by him, 1-2 to the cleanup hitter, Troiani.
The other thing about Nahas and his fastball, he just has a lot of action on it, running away from the right-handed batter.
So Nahas tries to make it 3 strikeouts here in the first inning. Kokoska, the runner at second, a pretty big lead. Nick Gonzalez shades towards the bag a little bit, and we'll have time called by Troiani. Troiani from the right side of the plate awaits the pitch from the right-handed pitching Joe Nahas. Comes set, checks on the runner at second twice. One more time, then kicks and deals the 1-2. Blew a fastball by him. Nahas strikes out the side. One runner reached on an infield single, but that's it for Orleans in the top of the first. We'll go into the home half of the first inning. You're listening to Cotuit Kettleers Baseball on the Cape Cod Baseball Network. Christian Robinson leading off and playing right field. Nick Gonzalez batting second, playing second. Casey Schmidt, third base, batting third. Parker Shavers, cleanup, the slugging percentage leader on this Kettleers team, playing left field. Adam Oviedo, the shortstop, bats fifth. Araj Anu, the DH, bats sixth. Colton Kessler batting seventh and catching. Mason McCorder will make his Kettleers debut, batting eighth and playing first. And Cam Hill will round things out, playing center. They'll face Adam Seminaris, the left-handed pitcher from Long Beach State University. He's making his third appearance. He's pitched a pair of 4 1/3 outings of scoreless ball. He's looked really good as part of this phenomenal Orleans staff. What do you expect from the southpaw in Seminaris?
I expect him to be really in control and probably a lot of strikeouts. 74 strikeouts to 24 walks. Opponents were able to get some hits on him this past year at Long Beach State. He gave up a 269 opponent batting average. But it's crucial that the Killers don't strike out. I think Mike Roberts made it clear he wants guys to make contact. He wants guys to battle with 2 strikes. And that's got to be the approach today against Seminaris, and then what should also be a tough Orleans bullpen after him.
Well, you mentioned the strikeouts. Cotuit leads the Cape League in punch-outs with 108. So definitely a focal point, something they need to work on. Also hitting just 175 against left-handed pitching, so we'll see if they can try and break that chain. First pitch of the left-handed hitting Robinson's a called strike. Robinson was one of the bright spots in Chatham in the 4-2 loss at Chatham. Had a pair of hits, including a double. Another fastball nips the corner. Quickly ahead 0-2 is Seminaris. On deck's the right-handed hitting Nick Gonzalez. Robinson behind 0-2. Takes a fastball, just misses away. Of course, Robinson, one of the late arrivals for this Kettleers team out of Stanford. Saw a little bit of everything from him in the last couple ball games. He flashed the leather in right field, running down, making some nice plays in Chatham. He's had some great at-bats battling up there, and of course, as we mentioned before, a pair of hits in the last ball game. As he grounds one over, it's a diving play by Murray, and he flips it on over to first base and makes the play.
Nice play by Tanner Murray to lay out at third base and stop that ground ball. Wasn't too well hit by Robinson, but better defense on the other end, and that's been a strength for Orleans as well. Not only the pitching, but a .973 fielding percentage, which ranks 4th in the league.
So Murray robs Robinson on a ball that could have squeezed through that 6-5 hole, and a nice diving play to his left for the first out of the inning. That brings up Nick Gonzalez, the 2-hitter, and the second baseman. Gonzalez probably one of the hottest hitters on this Kettleer team. He's been pretty locked in, drove in another run at Chatham. So he takes a fastball in the inside corner, 1-1. Of course, was phenomenal in the doubleheader, piled together 4 hits in 2 ball games, including a 2-run shot to left and a double. So 1-1 to Nick Gonzalez, one away here in the bottom of the first as he swings through a changeup. He's behind 1-2. Gonzalez over his last 5 ball games, 286, 4 hits, a home run, and 4 RBIs. Takes a fastball in the inside corner, throws him for strike 3. So 2 quick outs for Seminaris in the bottom of the first, and Casey Schmidt will try to reach base here and extend this inning.
Rare strikeout looking for Nick Gonzalez. We've talked so much about him being able to climb out of 2-strike holes, but not right there. Seminaris with good stuff early on.
I felt a little funny calling Nick Gonzalez one of the, if not the hottest hitter in this Kettleers lineup at hitting 286, but in the last 5 ball games, Kettleers are hitting 159 as a ball club. First pitch changeup misses just low. Casey Schmidt's ahead 1-0.
Yeah, despite the abbreviated doubleheader sweep against Brewster, which saw a little bit of runs, Kettleers have not done too hot at the plate. That goes back to losses against Wareham and Harwich.
1-0 to Schmidt. Takes it low, ahead 2-0. He also piloted in a home run in that doubleheader sweep against Brewster. A bomb to left field as well. A guy we've seen all over the lineup, but a lot in the 3-hole for the Kettleers. Coach Roberts is hoping for him to get going a little bit. The 2-0 pitch. He grounds it out to the third baseman, Murray, who makes another play, throws it on the run. It's high, jumping and making the tag is Ray Gill as the throw took him off the bag. So a 1-2-3 inning for Seminaris in the bottom of the first, and we're still scoreless through 1. We'll go into the top of the second. You're listening to Cotuit Kettleers Baseball on the Cape Cod Baseball Network.
Welcome back to Lowell Park, top of the second inning. Kettleers scoreless with the Orleans Firebirds. And Orleans at the plate, 4, 5, and 6 due up. Eddie McCabe, Ray Gill, and then Danny Soretti. And we've got a guest here in the booth. Glad to have her back. It's Kayla LaCorey from Cape Harmony, who was the group that just sang the national anthem for the Kettleers at this game. Kayla, great to have you back. How are you doing?
I'm good. Good to be back.
Yeah, it's awesome to have you guys here and doing the national anthem. Another
you.
Tremendous job.
Thank you so much.
And from my understanding, you guys have a show tonight, right?
We do, yep, at the Cotuit Federated Church at 7:30 p.m.
So you got to get out of here then.
Yeah.
Sounds good. Jonah Haas evens up the count, 1 ball and 1 strike against Eddie McCabe. So tell our listeners a little bit about Cape Harmony. Where do you guys go and what do you do?
So Cape Harmony is Cape Cod's professional all-female a cappella group. We have a weekly concert series, so we perform pretty much every day of the week. We're in Hyannis on Mondays at the Federated Church of Hyannis. We're in Cotuit on Wednesdays at the Cotuit Federated Church. We're at St. Christopher's in Chatham on Thursdays, and First Congregational Church of Falmouth on Fridays. All shows start at 7:30 p.m. And we're also available for private booking, so we perform at people's birthday parties, stuff like that. So we're just singing all summer.
Wow, that's a long tour.
Yes.
Do you just start in the summer, or is it a whole How long is your season, basically?
Yeah, so we're just a summer group. We get together in May, and we sing all the way until August, and then we all go back to school, go back to regular life, and miss Cape Harmony.
So you're from Orlando, Florida, then?
Yes.
And
Yes.
Jess, your friend, who's also here with us in the back of the booth, is from Connecticut.
Yes.
So you guys are from all over. How do you come to find Cape Harmony and then sing together?
Yeah, so a lot of us found out from friends of friends or saw on Facebook a post about the group. And the audition process is sending in videos, so people from all over send in videos. Yeah.
Very cool. We're talking with Kayla LaCourie, one of the members of Cape Harmony, an all-female a cappella group here on the Cape. They just sang the national anthem for the Kettleers here today at Lowell Park. So glad that she could join us here in the booth. It's actually the second time. She was with us last summer as well. So last year you were with the group.
Mm-hmm.
Were you there throughout all 4 years of your college career, or how long have you been?
This is my third year in the group.
Okay.
So
Very nice.
almost.
3 balls and 2 strikes on Eddie McCabe. Nobody on, nobody out. No score in the top of the second. Jonah Haas out of the windup. And a swing and a miss. Another good fastball. Got him upstairs. That's now 4 strikeouts for Nahas. 1 down here in the top of 2. Kayla LaCourie joining us in the booth. So where's your favorite place to perform on the Cape? You've got all these different spots. I got to imagine there's one that you really relish in performing at.
Yeah. Well, my favorite weekly show is always Cotuit. I love the community here. Everyone's always so nice to us. And we love the Kettleers, obviously. So I think Cotuit's my favorite. We do some beach performances, which is cool. But Cotuit's definitely the standout.
Singing on the beach.
Yeah.
that
It's
sounds
nice.
fun.
It's nice.
Very cool. What kind of songs are you singing? Does it just depend on the performance, or what's the range of the group?
Yeah, so we change songs every summer. There's like 5 songs that has been in the group since its founding in 2006, but we sing songs all the way from 1926 to 2019, so there's something for everyone when we're singing.
Very cool.
Yeah.
What's the 2019 song?
No Tears Left to Cry. Ariana
Oh,
Grande.
no way.
Yeah.
No way. Oh, my gosh. That's so funny.
Yeah.
I love that song. My buddy Sam, who was actually my broadcast partner last summer, we would jam to that song on the way into Lowell Park, coming
That's a
down
great
Main Street
song.
before every game.
Yeah.
I really like it.
It's a great song.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
Ariana Grande, for those who don't know, it was a big hit for her. And I didn't care for it 100% at first,
Yeah.
but it really grew on me.
grows
It's a
on
big,
you.
a big
Great pop song.
hot streak song for her, for sure.
Yeah.
Do you have any favorite artists that influence you in your singing?
Myself personally.
Yeah.
I love Freddie Mercury, the lead singer of Queen. We actually sing "Somebody to Love" by Queen. And I love Sarah Bareilles. Ariana Grande is also great. A wide range.
Nice.
Yeah.
Very nice. A little bit of everything.
Yes.
Did you see or was it called Bohemian Rhapsody?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I saw the movie.
How was that?
It was great.
I've never seen that. I've heard really good
Yeah,
things, though.
I thought it was really great. And the music was awesome, obviously. So, yeah, it was super enjoyable.
Let me see if I can dial up some Queen here
Oh,
on
yeah.
the playlist for once we go back to break. But Somebody to Love, that's another good one. Talking with Kayla LaCourie, one of the members of Cape Harmony, all-female a cappella group that sang the national anthem for today's ball game. Top of the second, still 0-0. Ray Gills on first base for Orleans. He reached on a throwing error at shortstop by Adam Oviedo. Now it's Danny Soretti at the plate, number 6 batter in the Orleans lineup. He bats from the left side. So you're playing tonight at the Cotuit Federated Church, or
Yep.
singing tonight, I should say. And you just graduated from Berkeley in Boston.
Yes. Yeah.
How was that? How was your college experience?
It was awesome. I studied songwriting and music business. So it was really interesting learning both the creative side and the marketing / just logistical side of the music business. But I really enjoyed it. It's a great school.
How did you come to pick that from Orlando?
My cousin actually went to Berkeley, and he loved it, so I decided I would audition for it. I didn't really think I would get in. I figured I would go to a Florida school, but I got in, and I was like, okay, have to go.
Very good.
Yeah.
What do you want to do now with it?
I would like to be a songwriter and also a manager of different artists. So I currently manage Cape Harmony, so that's cool.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, so Kayla LaCour, not only a member of Cape Harmony, but also the group's manager, joining us here in the booth. A walk issue to Danny Soretti, 2 on with 2 out, or 1 out rather, in the top of the second. And now David Avidia at the plate, Orleans catcher, number 7 batter. Where do you see yourself in 5 years then down the road?
Oof. I mean, hopefully I'm writing songs for some pop artists on the radio. But we'll see.
Do you like Mark Ronson?
Yes.
Yeah,
he's amazing.
Yeah. First pitch to Soretti, up, ball 1. No score in the top of the second, 2 on with 1 out. Orleans at the plate. I think he's on a major hot streak right now.
Oh,
Love
yeah.
some of the work that he's doing with Miley Cyrus. Nothing Breaks Like a Heart. Really into that song right now.
It's a good song.
So you kind of like the writing role. Do you write songs right now as well?
Yeah, I write
Very
my
cool.
own stuff. Yeah.
How long have you been doing that?
Oh, since I can remember. But I remember I performed my first original song at my 8th grade talent show. So I've been doing it for a while.
Wow.
Yeah.
8th grade.
Yep.
So did you kind of start late? Was that your first performance, or were you singing before then?
I was singing before then. I was just doing like covers. Lots of Hannah Montana covers.
That's awesome. Very cool. Time called on the diamond. Here comes Mike Roberts. He's out on the mound to talk with Joe Nahas. First and second for Orleans with 1 out in the top of the second inning. No score. And David Avidia at the plate. Kayla LaCour here with us in the booth from Orlando, Florida, a member and manager of Cape Harmony, all-female a cappella group. They're in town. They just performed the national anthem before today's ball game, and they're coming to the Cotuit Federated Church tonight. What time's the show?
7:30.
7:30. Okay. So you got to keep things tight. You guys have a little bit of time. How do you prepare for a show? What is the routine like before you perform?
So normally we get to wherever we're performing and like 2 hours early, and we sing at different restaurants around. So we go to Kettle Ho on Wednesdays, sing there. And then we just chill out before the show, just hang out with each other, try to make sure we're all feeling like connected and calm before we run out on stage and sing.
How many members are in the group?
10.
10 members. And from all corners of the country then?
Yeah, we have Florida, Connecticut, Oregon, New Jersey, Mass, California. I think that's it. Oh, New Hampshire.
Wow.
Yeah.
So a little bit of Northeast, a
Yeah.
little bit of West Coast, a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
And do you guys have any sort of superstitions or rituals that you have to do before you perform?
I don't know if we have any superstitions. We like to play games, I guess, before we go. So sometimes we'll sing a song at double the speed, and we're just just to warm up. But yeah, and before we go on stage, we do a chant and run out. So that's fun.
Is it a specific chant or just?
Yeah, it's so Cape Harmony is short, a shortened version of Cape Harmony is CH. So we go
Nice.
and then woo.
Oh, I
run
love
on
it.
stage, yeah.
Love it. Love a good performing warm-up. I
Yeah.
used to do speech back in high
Oh,
school,
cool.
so I know all about the...
Yeah.
I never did any sort of theater or singing, although somebody told me I'd once be a good singer, but never
Yeah, you could
pursued
be a
it.
bass.
So, well, yeah, I
You got
guess.
a good voice.
Yes. Are you a soprano then, or?
I'm not. I'm an alto.
Okay. How does it go? Remind me of the scaling then on
So soprano is the top female voice, and alto is the bottom one. There's also mezzo-soprano, which is in between the two. But Cape Harmony, we normally divide it like soprano 1, soprano 2, alto 1, alto 2. So alto 2 is the lowest voice, and soprano 1 is the highest voice.
that? Interesting. Very interesting. Talking with Kayla LaCour, member of Cape Harmony. Top of the second inning, 2 on with 2 out now for Orleans. And David Avicii at the plate. It was actually Danny Soretti, or excuse me, Shea Whitcomb at the plate. Danny Soretti reached on a single, and then Avicii just struck out. So 2 on with 2 out. Mike Roberts out of the dugout to signal a little bit to his defense, see if the Kettleers can get out of this thing without any runs scored. Pop up. Left center field should be good for Adam Oviedo. He's calling for it, and he's got it to end the inning. No runs on one hit, one error, and a couple left on base for the Orleans Firebirds. Kayla, thank you so much for joining us in the booth. A pleasure to see you again, and good luck tonight with the show.
Thank you so much.
All righty, that's Kayla LaCourie, member of Cape Harmony, joining us here in the booth, and just for her, we will play a little bit of Queen on the way out. This is Somebody to Love by Queen. Be right back in just a moment. You're listening to Cotuit Kettleers Baseball on the Cape Cod Baseball Network.
Second, still scoreless here at Lowell Park. It'll be the cleanup hitter Parker Shavers, then Adam Oviedo and Araj Anu. Seminaris worked a 1-2-3 inning in the bottom of the first. There's a first pitch fastball right down the middle, strike one. Got two groundouts to third base and a strikeout of Nick Gonzalez. It was quick work of the Kettleers in the bottom of the first. Shavers fouls one off his foot. He's quickly behind 0-2. Shavers leads this Kettleers ball club in slugging percentage. One of the guys that's been putting together a lot of doubles, waiting for him to poke out another home run. It's been a little bit since YD in that 4 home run ball games. He takes strike 3 on the outside corner. It's a second strikeout of the ball game for Seminaris.
Already a ton of strikeouts from both pitchers. Joe Nahas with 6 strikeouts. That's how he's gotten all of his outs in this ball game. And Seminaris with 2 quickly against the first 4 batters he's seen.
So Adam Oviedo will stride to the plate. He's a right-handed hitter. We saw his 8-game reaching base streak end at Chatham in the last ball game 2 days ago. He takes a first pitch fastball high for ball 1. That was the first time all season Adam Oviedo did not reach base. He was 0 for 3 in that ball game. He's ahead 1-0 here. Grounds a fastball over to Murray. He picks it on a hop, throws it over to first base, and gets Oviedo. So 2 up, 2 down here in the bottom of the second, and Araj Anu, the switch hitter, will hit from the right side against the Southpaw Seminaris. So far, there's a little bit of pattern to this game. It's 5-3. Strikeout looking, 5-3, strikeout looking, 5-3. So if Araj Anu follows pattern, I'll strike out looking here. But we'll see what he does. Fouls the first pitch straight back, strike 1.
That'd be pretty freaky if he does. I wonder.
Been a tough go for Anu. He's 0 for his last 11. Takes this change up in the dirt. It's 1-1. Anu, of course, the 12th round pick from the Red Sox, yet to sign. Has the deadline around mid-July to figure it out. Says he's pretty excited about the idea of attending Kentucky. Is another change up. This time it's a strike. Anu swung through it. It's 1-2. Of course, he's been getting acquainted with the two other Wildcats on this Cotuit ball club, Colton Kessler, the catcher, and Cam Hill, the center fielder. I'm sure they're hoping Anu makes it to campus as well. He takes a fastball high, 2-2. Kessler waits on deck if Anu is able to reach base. 2-2, 2 outs here in the bottom of the second. Cotuit looking for their first hit. He just fouls one off and will do 2-2 again. Another changeup from Seminaris, giving the right-handed hitting Anu a steady dose of them. Anu with the high socks. On the right side of the plate, the bat just above his shoulder. Slightly open stance awaits the 2-2. Looks at a pitch just off the outside corner. A few of the infielders started walking towards the dugout. They thought it was strike 3. But we're full now with 2 outs.
It was close. It would have kept the pattern up.
So 3-2 to Anu. 2 outs here in the bottom of the second. The payoff pitch. Grounded out to the shortstop, McCabe. He picks it on a hop. Throws it over to first base in another 1-2-3 inning for Adam Seminaris. 6 up, 6 down. We'll go into the top of the third. You're listening to Cotuit Kettleers Baseball on the Cape Cod Baseball Network.
A scoreless ball game between the Kettleers and the Orleans Firebirds. It's Orleans at the plate with the top of their order against the right-hander Joe Nahas, Daniels, Kukuska, and then Murray. 1, 2, and 3. Nahas has been nasty early on. 2 innings scoreless, left 2 on base in the last half inning, but he has struck out 6. First pitch breaking ball to Daniels, in there for a called strike. No balls and 1 strike to the center fielder out of Tennessee. 0 for 1. He struck out to lead off the ball game. Nahas out of the windup. 0-1. Breaking pitch again. Weak check swing. He did go around. Nothing in 2. Cotuit in the home white pinstripes today. Orleans in the red road tops on white pants with red socks. Black matte batting helmets for the Birds on the road. Very sharp look. 0-2 home. Swing and a miss. Got him with a fastball outside. Joe Nahas mowing him down. Another strikeout to begin the third. It's his 7th already. One down, nobody aboard. No score in the top of the third. Zach Kukuska back to the plate. He has the only hit of this game early on. Reached on an infield single in the top of the first. Stole a base and was stranded on second. Kessler sets up away from the left-handed bat, who swings at the first pitch and skies it straight away to center. Cam Hill with the sunglasses on makes the catch for out number 2. Joe Nahas off to a really solid start. He worked around the walk in the air in the last inning arm, and he's already got the first 2 in the third.
And for those keeping count, that's 20 strikeouts for Joe Nahas through just 10 and 2/3 innings. That's unbelievable. I think that's got to be among the tops in the Cape League.
Tanner Murray now. Right-handed bat 0 for 1 with a strikeout as well. Defense, normal depth and straight up. 2 outs, nobody on. 0-0 in the third. Nahas misses away with a slider down and out. Joe, a deep breath, shrug of the shoulders on the mound. Wind up in the 1-0. Slider. This time it gets the outside corner for a called strike, 1-1. With the 7 strikeouts already, Joe Nahas now good enough for second overall in the Cape League. Only Logan Allen, Harwich's ace, has more with 24. Breaking pitch, just excused away, foul on the right side. 1 ball and 2 strikes. His K per 9 rate is going to be crazy by the end of the summer, that's for sure, at this rate.
And a nice little surprise because he came in as a temp guy from Georgia Southern, and he's looked like one of the best arms in this entire Cotuit pitching staff.
Up against Tanner Murray here, the all-conference selection in the Big West out of UC Davis. 1-2. Fastball way upstairs, 94 miles an hour. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
And going back to Logan Allen, he has a 5-inning advantage on Joe Nahas, so all he has to do is strike out just a handful over 5 innings, and he'll have the lead.
Nothing on the scoreboard. 2 down and nobody aboard. Top of the third. 2-2. Fastball, line back foul. 96 on the gun for Nahas. He's just attacking hitters.
And he said he's been working on a changeup. It's something he mentioned before the ball game, but he has no need to use it right now. He's throwing the hardest we've seen in his 3 outings now, and he can just blow by these guys so far.
2-2 breaking ball, sweeps down and off the plate. Full count on Murray.
Great spot for that breaking ball there, 2-2. Like we mentioned, he's been throwing a lot of fastballs. He was geared up for the fastball, was Murray. Absolutely froze him on the curveball. Murray was lucky it just dove off the plate.
Nobody aboard with 2 outs in the third. No score. 3-2. Fastball foul tipped into Kettleers' mitt for strike 3. Joe Nahas, incredible. 8 strikeouts through 3 scoreless, and the Kettleers come back to the plate when we come back in the bottom of the third inning. No score between Cotuit and Orleans. This is Cotuit Baseball on the Cape Cod Baseball Network. At Lowell Park, no score between Cotuit and Orleans. Glad you're along with us. Sam Niederman, Aram Layton, our entire Cotuit media team, Jacob Cohen, Josh Rothstein, driving the production right behind us, and the Arnold Mycock press box. Another beautiful day on a Wednesday in the village of Cotuit. Colton Kessler starts off the plate for the Kettleers. He takes a strike, 0-1. Adam Seminara is still on the hill for Orleans. Lefty has tossed 2 scoreless innings. 6 up and 6 down for him out of the gate. 0-1 to the left-handed bat Kessler. Breaking pitch in the dirt. 1 ball and 1 strike. Joe Nahas, 3 scoreless innings to match Seminaris. for the Kettleers. 8 strikeouts for the righty out of Georgia Southern.
We had a feeling this was going to be a pitcher's duel between the incredible Orleans pitching staff and, of course, Cotuit going to one of their best arms in Joe Nahas.
Swing and a miss by Kessler. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Daniels offset to the left center gap in center field. Infield plays straight up. One little shadow creeping out over Tanner Murray at third base on the infield. Perfect sunny day, 75 degrees, big blue sky above. 1-2 fastball low and out. 2 balls and 2 strikes on Kessler. Talks with Coach Mike Roberts about his approach before the game. They're trying to shorten up his swing, shorten up the stride, and the results have been there. Kessler, a home run to get out of a slump on Sunday against Brewster in a doubleheader. Had a sac fly to drive in a run against Chatham as well on Monday. He lasers one off foul to the left side here to stay alive with a 2-2 count. But Aram, the big thing for him was just getting healthy. He's now finally no longer sick.
Yeah, I ran into his father just outside the booth earlier, who's here visiting, and his whole family's here. And I said, Colton's been looking good lately. And he goes, yeah, he just needed to get better. He was so sick, he didn't even mention it, that he had to take his Z-Pack, and he was having trouble even breathing behind the plate. You couldn't tell with his defense, but you can imagine that bat would feel a little bit heavy if you're battling the flu.
Well, he goes down swinging on a strikeout there, so maybe the announcer's jinx, but better luck next time. Colton Kessler, good to see that he is back at full strength. 0 for 1 now, 1 down in the bottom of the first, nobody aboard, and a new Kettleer batter comes to the plate. Mac McWhorter from Georgia Southern making his debut. No score in the third. McWhorter a left-handed bat, and he takes a fastball outside for ball 1. Called strike, 1 ball and 1 strike. Check that, Mason McWhorter at the plate, and his first plate appearance for the Kettleers. A senior from Georgia Southern, 6'1", 190, from Cumming, Georgia, in Forsyth County, suburbs of Atlanta. Foul ball back to make it a 1-2 count. He had a lot of power this spring in Statesboro. Hit over 300, racked up 12 home runs, and drove in 57 in 54 starts. 1-2. Fastball just high and outside. 2-2. Kettleers still haven't really found a first baseman. Mason Dodd has gotten the majority of the starts to open up the season. We've seen a little bit of Joey Loperfido from Duke, but now McWhorter giving a shot. 2-2. Fastball popped away foul behind home plate. Right back into the parking lot. Scoreless ball game between the Kettleers and Orleans. Bottom of the third inning. Bases empty with 1 out. McWhorter an open stance. Deep knee bend as well. Seminaris to 2-2. Fastball grounded right side. Scooped up at first by Gill. He takes it to the bag himself for out number 2. So McWhorter retired in his first Kettleer at bat. 2 outs, nobody aboard, and the number 9 batter Cam Hill due up. Seminaris really dealing. He's retired his first 80s seen out of the gate.
You got to figure it's a tough time for the Kettleers to run into this Orleans staff. Of course, that's one of the league. It is the league's best. When you're struggling at the plate, now you go against some of the best arms in the Cape League. It's not a good recipe for success.
Cam Hill a lefty at the plate. Center fielder out of Kentucky. Seminaris a windup. And a first pitch fastball chopped high on the left side. Scooped up on a backhand by McCabe at short. But his throw not in time. Hill legs out an infield single.
You had the feeling off the bat there that with it chopping so high and once it got past the third baseman Murray, there was no chance they were going to get the speedster Cam Hill, who can move as well as anybody in the Cape League.
First hit of the day for the Kettleers. It comes with 2 outs in the bottom of the third inning. First man to reach against Seminaris, who retired the first 8 in a row. Now back to the top of the Cotuit order. Christian Robinson climbs back in for the left side. 0 for 1 with a ground out to third. 0-0 ball game. Maybe a chance for the Kettleers to take a lead with 2 outs. Hill on the run to steal. Throw by the catcher behind home plate. Not in time. Cam Hill, a stolen base.
And it looked like Hill kind of used the swim move there. The tag was going towards his left arm. Moved that left arm out of the way and got the base with the right arm, was able to just evade the tag from McCabe.
The throw from Avidia, who has been renowned as one of the better defensive catchers in this Cape League, was almost on the money, but you called it a really good slide by Hill. Mike Roberts moves a man in motion to get it to be a 2-out situation with a runner in scoring position. Seminaris out of the stretch, 1-0. Fastball, nipped away, foul. 1 ball and 1 strike on Robinson.
And that was a great spot to run there. You have the top of the order up, 2 outs, like you mentioned, getting the guy in scoring position. But worst case scenario, if he's thrown out, you got the top of the order again in the next inning. So really not that much to lose there. A lot to gain, and now they have a runner in scoring position. A base hit should score him.
Sunny day at Lowell Park. Quiet day on the scoreboard, though. Bottom 3, 2 outs, and a man on second, no score. And a 2 ball, 1 strike count on Christian Robinson. Cotuit's offense has faced some good pitching this year. Seminaris probably will be on that list of aces by the time we're done. Kettleers have only been shut out once this year. It was against Wareham. Wave and a miss by Robinson. Good changeup by Seminaris. That evens the count 2-2. That was up against a committee of pitchers. The majority of the damage done on the hill was the little lefty and Joe Barron and Brandon Fott, who ate up 5 innings in the middle of that contest. Orleans pitching staff, they have mowed through plenty of opponents. 5 shutouts already this season. That's a Cape League best. Bottom 3, 2 outs. Hill on second after the steal. Seminaris at the belt. A look back to second. Nobody holding. 2-2. Robinson ropes it on the ground. Foul. Right side.
The even crazier thing is that Orleans was supposed to also get Kumar Rocker, who pitched yesterday in the second game of the College World Series final. Was dominant once again. He looks like one of the best young pitchers in the country. And it's almost terrifying to imagine that Orleans could potentially have had a guy like Kumar Rocker to add to this already incredible staff. You expect with the innings count being so high and going so deep into the season that Rocker might get shut down, especially since it's only after his freshman year. But what could have been in Orleans is also JT Ginn, one of the best young pitchers in the country, probably getting shut down as well. But they could have had maybe an all-time best staff in Orleans this summer.
2-2. Fastball zipped down the line and left, but foul.
Who do you have tonight? Michigan Vandy, the final game, game 3.
Michigan's really on a Cinderella run. I'm going to go, I don't know. We're going to put this on the record, so I want to be right. But obviously, the head says Vandy, but the heart might say Michigan, being a Big Ten guy now. But I'd say you favor Vandy. Didn't see too much of the game last night, but I'll go with the maize and blue to stun the world. 2-2. Breaking pitch popped up right side of the infield. Gill calling for it, and he makes the catch on the run right behind the mound. Kettleers unable to bring anything home in the bottom of the third. Cam Hill stranded on second. No runs on 1 hit, no errors. And 1 man left before we go to break. Who do you have?
Vanderbilt, they have way too much pitching. Michigan shredded through a lot of their pitching. They're just too good. Offense is too good. Former Firebird, future Marlin, J.J. Blade leading the way. They can't lose. I want the Maize and Blue to win, though.
I feel that. We'll catch it. It's a 7 p.m. first pitch, I believe, in Omaha. Game 3 to decide a national champion, the Vanderbilt Commodores and the Michigan Wolverines. So Arm says Vandy. I'll go with Michigan just to give a little underdog split. Do you think it'll be close?
No.
Not close.
I think it's a Vandy blowout.
Yeah, I could see it just being a murder. Yeah, I could see it just being, we should have all known this all along. Yeah, I could see that. Michigan wins, it'll probably be close.
Oh, that's the only way.
Yeah.
It's going to have to be a slugfest if Michigan's going to win.
We'll see what happens. That's a College World Series talk, and we'll be back with the 4th inning after this. No score between Cotuit and Orleans. No score between Cotuit and Orleans. Top of the fourth inning. Orleans at the plate. Max Troiani, Eddie McCabe, and then Ray Gill. 4, 5, and 6 for Kelly Nicholson's squad. Jonah Haas out of the windup. First pitch breaking ball bends way inside. Ball 1. Troiani, the Cape League batting leader with 14 hits so far. He's 0 for 1 today. Struck out swinging in his first at-bat. 1-0 from Nahas. Fastball up and in. 2 balls and no strikes. Troiani, a native of Pittsburgh, New York, hit .320 with 9 home runs and 29 RBI with Bentley University this past spring. He takes low at the shins. Nahas down the count 3-0. Only 1 hit apiece for either squad. 1 error by Cotuit. It came back in the second. 3-0. Fastball right down the pipe at 95. Called for a strike. 3 balls and a strike.
He talked about Troiani using the wood bats all spring. I wonder if he uses the one the teams give him because of the sponsorships, or if he sticks to what he was using all spring at Bentley University.
3-1. Fastball skied to right. Robinson a few steps. Still jogging under it, and he bags it for out number 1. That's an interesting conversation. I wonder. His bat is kind of a dull-looking brown, that's for sure. Not your conventional tan or dark maple or blackwood bat. Just kind of a blend of something in between. 1 down, nobody aboard. No score in the top of 4. Here's Eddie McCabe, another strikeout victim, who checks at the first pitch and did go around, according to Rick Emerson at first base. No balls and a strike. Jonah Haas, a deep breath, and the 0-1. Fastball at the belt. Mark it down for another strike. 0-2. Base is empty with 1 out. Top 4 scoreless. Nahas shakes off Kessler. Now a 2-strike pitch. Breaking ball down and away. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Lots of people at the park today. A third base grandstand filled up to capacity. Lots of lawn chairs up the left field line and on the concourse. Fastball high and away. 2-2. First base side pretty filled up too in the visitor stands. Finally get a beautiful day on Cape Cod. Yesterday's game for Cotuit rained out against Wareham. 2-2 to McCabe. Low fastball, just missing the zone. Full count. Zero to 0, top 4. 1 down, base is empty. 3-2. Little fender foul past first base. McCabe stays alive.
Second time around, it looks like McCabe's a little bit more on that fastball with a full count here. We'll see if Nahas tries to blow by him like he's been doing all day with most of these Orleans hitters, or if he tries to throw him off with a breaking ball.
McCabe, a right-handed bat out of Georgetown. Nahas from Georgia Southern, a 3-2. High fastball, and he went around, according to Rick Emerson at first base. A check swing appeal called for a strikeout. 9th strikeout of the game for Jonah Haas. That high fastball caused McCabe to drop to a knee and put up a defensive check swing, and somehow they ruled that he went around for the second out of the inning.
Sometimes you have to do everything you can to stop that bat once you got it in motion. He tried to get his legs into it and try and halt the bat, but like you said, Rick Emerson said he went around. And Jonah Haas's fastball with the backspin is just so hard to lay off of because it almost rises a little bit.
The 9th strikeout of the day for Jonah Haas through 3 2/3 of an inning, and he's already had in the count 0-1 on Ray Gill. Gill 0 for 1, reached on an error to short back in the second inning. He was stranded on second in that inning. 0-1. Wave and a miss. 0-2.
We mentioned Nahas. He was hoping to get drafted after this junior season he had. He had a pretty good year at Georgia Southern. Didn't end up hearing his name called. Coming out here with a little bit of a chip on his shoulder. and he's been showing what he's capable of, and you have to figure he's getting on a lot of radars right now.
0-2 fastball, hard and outside at 95. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Gill. Bad throw by Kessler back to Nahas on the mound, and good backup by Adam Oviedo. It was interesting. Nahas actually ran into a little bit of trouble in the second inning. Mike Roberts had to come out for a mound visit and calm him down, but he has dialed in ever since. No score in the fourth. 2 outs, nobody on. 1-2 to Gill. Breaking pitch, spoiled away foul up the right field line.
I think that was just a setup for Nahas to elevate the fastball here. A good spot for the curveball. I don't think he was expecting to get him on it, though, and you change eye levels with the low curveball, throw the high fastball. It's really hard to lay off of, as we've seen the last couple batters chase right around the eyes with some of those fastballs.
1-2. Fastball hit off the end of the bat, foul behind home plate. Gill stays alive. He doesn't wear any batting gloves, just red wrist tape. Nahas stretches both arms and takes a big, deep breath behind the rubber. On the verge of his 10th strikeout of this game. 2 down, nobody aboard, and Gill calls for time. 0-0. Top 4, it has been a pitcher's duel. Nahas with the upper hand. 1 ball, 2 strikes. The pitch to Gill. Hard fastball low and away. 2-2. We did see one spectacular pitching performance between these two sides at Lowell Park last season. It was Graham Stinson from Duke. Right before he went to Team USA, he struck out 12 in 5 innings against the Kettleers. Nahas trying to return the favor. 2-2. Breaking ball, got him fishing. Joe Nahas, 10 strikeouts through 4 scoreless innings. And the Kettleers come back to the plate in the bottom of the 4th inning. He's been dealing, and the Bats will try and pick him up when we return after this on the Cape Cod Baseball Network. To it, bottom of the 4th inning, no score, and Kettleers back at the plate against the lefty and Adam Seminaris. Glad you're along with us. Heart of the Cotuit order up. Nick Gonzalez, Casey Schmidt, and then Parker Chavers. Gonzalez, first pitch swinging, a lightning bolt into the gap, left center field, down for extra bases. Gonzalez speeds into second, wheeling around second, and he pumps the brakes last second. Unbelievable. Great pitch to hit by Nick Gonzalez, and he drives a double to lead things off here in the bottom of the 4th.
All over that first pitch breaking ball. You figured Nick Gonzalez would get his revenge. A rare strikeout looking in the first. Jumps all over that first pitch, and the Kettleers are in business here. Runner on second, nobody out. We'll see if Casey Schmidt can do his job and try and move the runner to third.
Gonzalez drives his on-base streak to now 13 games. 13 for 13 and reaching base to begin the summer. He's the runner on second, a big lead. Nobody holding him on at the moment. Casey Schmidt at the plate, batting from the right side. 0 for 1 with a ground ball to third his last time up. 0-0, bottom of 4. Seminaris at the belt, now to the plate. Fastball out, 1 ball, no strikes. Jonah Haas has dazzled on the mound for the Kettleers. 4 scoreless innings, only allowing 1 hit to Orleans, and he has struck out 10 batters already. It's been crazy. Cotuit's offense trying to pick him up. 1-0. Fastball, called strike at the knees of Schmidt. 1-1.
If you're Coach Roberts, you got to just let Jonah Haas keep going until he runs into a little bit of trouble. We see him typically pull pitchers in the 4th or 5th, but Jackson Wolf was great in Chatham, and he stretched him out, let him go out for a 6th inning. We'll see if he does the same with Jonah Haas.
Runner on second, nobody out. No score in the bottom of 4. 1-1. Schmidt shows bunt and squirts it off foul up the left field line.
That's a pitch you probably want to just pull back on if you're Casey Schmidt. Of course, with the runner on second, you're trying to get him to third. Your object's to bunt it to the right side. Curveball bending in towards him. It's really hard to punch that the other way, and he ended up pulling it foul towards the third base dugout. Now he's behind 1-2. We'll see if Coach Roberts keeps the bunt sign on or lets him swing away and try and drive a ground ball the other way and do his job.
1 ball and 2 strikes after the foul on a bunt attempt. Gonzalez on second after a leadoff double. Nobody out. 1-2. Tailing fly ball into right field, and it hooks down the line foul. Still 1-2 on Schmidt.
Good swing there by Schmidt. You can see his concerted effort to try and stay inside the baseball from the right side, trying to drive it the other way. He's a guy with a lot of back control. He's been a tough strikeout all year. And Coach Roberts given the confidence. He hasn't been afraid to bunt with 2 strikes. We've seen it a few times this year, but he's letting Schmidt swing away here. See what he can do.
Both starters have been effective early, but Seminaris in a little bit of trouble here in the bottom of the 4th. Runner on second with nobody out. 1-2. Fastball cued on the ground, right side, and it's into right field for a base hit. Mike Roberts puts up the stop sign at third for Gonzalez. He stays put there. Casey Schmidt just able to get one through for a base hit. And it's first and third for Cotuit with nobody out.
It doesn't show up that big on the stat sheet, but that was a phenomenal swing from Casey Schmidt. That fastball was inside, and he totally put his hands inside of that, inside out at it, to second base. It was shaded up the middle a little bit. Even if he grounded out there, he would be doing his job, and a great at-bat from Casey Schmidt to get the runner to third, and now he's on base on first. And you got first and third with your cleanup hitter, Parker Shavers, up. You're in business.
Parker Shavers 0 for 1 with a strikeout looking in the second against Seminaris. Schmidt produces a third hit of the game for Cotuit. Runners on the corners, nobody out. Double play defense for Orleans on the infield. Seminaris from the stretch. Fastball runs hard and inside. Ball 1. Shavers, the left-handed bat from Montgomery, Alabama. Junior at Coastal Carolina. Just a little bit of an open stance with his black and white Under Armour cleats. No score in the bottom of 4. Kettleers trying to change that. Seminaris looks over to first to check on Schmidt. Gonzalez started things off with a double into the left center gap on the first pitch of this inning. Schmidt able to trickle a ground ball past Soretti into right field. And that made it first and third with nobody out. 1-0. Fastball just above the outside corner. 2-0 on Shavers. Kettleers in the home white pinstripes trimmed in maroon. Orleans in the road reds on white pants. 2-0. Fastball zipped in for a strike. 2-1. Kettleers an opportunity to get on the board first. Jonah Haas 4 scoreless innings with 10 strikeouts for Cotuit on the mound. Shavers at the plate with first and third and nobody out. Time called behind home plate by Time Ryberg. Adam Seminaris staring down the runner and Schmidt on the rubber.
Seminaris had no plan to throw that pitch there. He was trying to take the legs away from Casey Schmidt. I'm sure they know that Coach Roberts likes to run in first and third situations.
2-1, chopper to short. McCabe over to second for 1. Relay from Soretti, not in time. Shavers safe at first. Gonzalez slips through the back door and scores at home. And the Kettleers take a 1-0 lead on an RBI fielder's choice with 1 out in the bottom of the 4th.
Good job by Shavers, just putting the ball in play. That's all he had to do to score the run there. And when your starter, Joe Nahas, is pitching as well as he is, sometimes that's all you need. And the small ball against a staff like this in Orleans is pivotal. And every base you can get, every little play you can make is huge.
Shavers produces the run. He's on first with one down. Schmidt out at second, 6-4. Gonzalez scored the run, and here's Adam Oviedo. 0 for 1 with a ground out to third. And another throw over to first by Seminaris. 1-0 Kettleers in the bottom of the fourth. One out and a runner aboard. First pitch to Oviedo, a fastball that brushes him back at the knees. 1 ball, no strikes.
Got a chance there to really see Shavers' speed on that chopper to short. They had no chance to turn that. Haven't really seen him kick it in gear yet this year, and he can fly down the baseline.
He's got a short lead at first, held on by Gill. Seminaris, a slow little slider that fools Oviedo. Big swing and a miss. 1 ball and 1 strike.
Seminaris is doing a really good job at keeping the Kettleers close to first base and mixing up his looks. He's gone to the slide step, he's lifted the leg, he's thrown over to first base, and he seems like a very tough guy to steal off of when a left-handed pitcher is doing that. And now he snap throws, which is just, he's mixing it up. And it's the scouting report on the Kettleers, of course, they're among the league leaders in stolen bases, and this is a tough guy to steal off of. He's doing a great job of keeping them near first base.
Mike Roberts has to love the test that his team is seeing with Seminaris. His snap throw was a little wide to Gill, who did a good job to come off the bag and catch it. Shavers leads at first with 1 out, 1-1. Fastball in at the ankles of Oviedo. 2 balls and 1 strike. Mike Roberts pacing in the third base's coaching box across the way. He's in the shadows. Sun starting to set a little bit on Cotuit. 1-0 Kettleers, bottom of the fourth. Seminaris from the belt. 2-1. Popped up foul on the right side, out of play. 2-2 on Ovi, who was one of the main characters in last season's series between Orleans. The Kettleers won all 4 matchups with the Firebirds, all of them memorable. And it began at Eldridge Park in the 4th game of the season. Cotuit won 6-2 on the strength of Oviedo's phantom grand slam that went nearly foul down the left field line. He squirts a little grounder to short here. McCabe charges and slings a good one onto first for out number 2. Shavers up to second base. And that play, as it's known in Orleans as the foul slam, was a hard fly ball down the left field line that at this point, if you go back and look at it, it landed a good 6 feet foul.
I was going to say, you said almost foul. What I've heard around town is that it was well foul, but I'm sure the Kettleers will take that. And it's one of the first things I heard, actually, when I got here
Yeah.
in Cotuit. Seems like it's almost picked up as a legend as itself.
It is a legend, and we'll talk a little more about it on Friday night. Kettleers actually take a trip down Route 6 to take on Orleans at Eldridge Park this Friday. That game is next up. And we'll be right at the landmark spot down the left field line by that 320 sign. Pitching visit on the mound for Orleans. Kettleers have 1 run home here in this inning. RBI fielder's choice by Shavers to plate Gonzalez. Quick little mound visit for Orleans. Jamie Quinn, pitching coach, goes out to talk with the lefty and Seminaris. Seminaris has allowed 1 run on 3 hits through 3 2/3 on the mound. He stares down Shavers off the mound, just about 6 feet into the grass behind the mound, basically to let him know, like, I'm watching you, I guess. Nobody holding on, though. Man on second with 2 outs, 1-0 Cotuit. Bottom 4, here's Araja New. 0 for 1 with a bounce out to short. Switch hitter bats from the right side again. First pitch, wave and a miss, and a good little changeup down and away.
That's how he got a new last at-bat. Steady diet of changeups through about 4 of them, was able to finally get them. That's kind of been the scouting report on a new soft away, and he kind of has been reaching at it a little bit. See if he can wait back on it and try and drive it the other way.
Seminaris, a long set at the belt. 0-1. Off-speed pitch, low and in at the ankles. 1 ball and 1 strike to Raj. Chavers the man on second. Nobody holding on with 2 outs. 1-0 Cotuit in the bottom of the 4th inning. 1 ball and 1 strike. Pitch from Seminaris. Fastball, called strike at the knees. The lefty gets ahead on the mound. 1-2. Daniels offset to the right center gap in the outfield. Everybody else straight up on the infield. 1-0 Kettleers in the bottom of 4. 1-2 pitch. Fastball just knocked off the end of the bat, foul behind home plate. A new originally from the Bahamas at home plate. He stands in and waits for Seminaris to come set. And the lefty steps off. He wants to go through the signs again with his catcher in Avavita. 1-2. Breaking ball in the dirt. Good block by the backstop for Orleans. 2-2. Cotuit's got the lead 1-0 in the home half of the 4th inning. Gonzalez started things off with a double. Schmidt a single to make it 1st and 3rd with nobody out. Chavers a ground ball to short to score a run. Oviedo grounded to short for the 2nd out of the inning. 2-2 to Anu. Bouncing ball to short again. McCabe charges, fields, and makes a nice throw across the way for out number 3. But Cotuit gets the lead. 1 run on 2 hits, no errors, and 1 man left in scoring position, and we're out of the 5th inning of play. Who would be on the mound? Could it be Jonah Haas? He's already got 4 innings under his belt and 10 strikeouts. We'll see that when we return. Aram Layton has the play-by-play on the Cape Cod Baseball Network.
Beck way, that means Joe Nahas's day is over. But what an outing from Nahas. 4 innings pitched, 1 hit allowed, struck out 10 batters, and only walked 1. How about that start from Nahas, Sam?
It was a strikeout festival for Nahas. That was unbelievable. 10 strikeouts. It started pretty innocent with a 3 in the 1st inning after giving up an infielder. You thought, all right, he might end up with 5 or 6, but dude just kept on going. 3 strikeouts in the 1st, 3 in the 2nd. 2 in a 1-2-3 third, and then 2 more in a 1-2-3 fourth. He finished really strong, retiring the last 8 batters that he faced, and his fastball was just untouchable for the Orleans lineup.
We saw him run it up to as high as 96, hardest we've seen him throw all year. Another flamethrower in Beck Way. Out there on the mound, a little more on him. He's from Belmont Abbey College, Division II, out in North Carolina. He's 0-1 so far in this year. He's made 3 appearances. This will be his 3rd appearance. A 3.72 ERA and 9 2/3 innings. He's struck out 11.
I like the move by Coach Roberts to go to another hard-throwing pitcher out of the pen, keep the velocity up, and try and keep Orleans off balance.
Bottom third of the order for Orleans, it'll be Danny Soretti, David Avitia, and Shea Whitcomb. Soretti bats from the left side. Beckway, the right-handed pitcher, works out of the stretch. First pitch fastball, right down the middle, strike one. Soretti walked in his first at-bat against Nahas. The only walk of the ball game for Orleans. The 1-1. Fastball just tails inside. 94 on the gun from Beckway. He's behind 2-1. Soretti from UNC, Coach Roberts' alma mater. Just a sophomore this coming year. Hit .299 as a freshman, 18 doubles, 45 RBIs. A great year for the Tar Heels. As Coach Roberts will go talk to his pitcher, Beckway. He tells the infield to hold back. It'll just be him, Beckway, and Colton Kessler.
This is interesting. Coach Roberts came out of the dugout really fast with a lot of intent. I'm not sure what exactly he wants to talk about, but he made up his mind that he wanted to talk about it pretty quick.
And he converses with Way on the mound. On deck is David Avitia, the catcher, and Shea Whitcomb, the DH and 9-hitter. Both of them struck out against Nahas. 2 of the 10 victims that Nahas mowed down today.
The only batter that has not struck out against Nahas in the Orleans lineup is Zach Kokoska, the number 2 hitter. 1 for 2 with an infield single and a fly out to center. Otherwise, everybody at least has 1 K on their line so far. I beg your pardon, Danny Soretti as well.
So just 2 batters were able to escape Joe Nahas without striking out. And the conference is over. Beckway still out there. It's 3-1. Soretti, the second baseman, bats from the left side. Takes a deep breath, steps back into the box, and awaits the 3-1 pitch from Beckway. Way quickly comes set, kicks and deals. Fastball right back at Way. He picks it, flips it underhand over to first base, and he bounces back and gets the out.
It's a good job by Beckway. It's going to be interesting to see how his role continues to develop for Cotuit. I could see him as a middle inning guy right here, get that 5 and 6 work, and then leave it off to Bo Hofstra and Kyle Nicholas for the late 3 innings.
So David Avitia, the catcher, takes a first pitch fastball that just tails inside. He's from Grand Canyon University. As you mentioned earlier in the broadcast, Sam, he's more touted for his glove. Hit just 198 with 4 home runs this past season as he takes a fastball for strike 1. But throughout all 18 runners that tried to run on him this season, that's almost unheard of.
That's got to feel good, too, if you're Avitia as well.
And Cam Hill stole successfully on him, so he's one of the very few to be able to say so. He's behind 2-1. The 2-1 pitch blows a fastball by him. 96 on the gun from Beckway. And Orleans has just seen a steady diet of high-velocity fastballs so far today. Way working quickly, throws the 2-2, misses high. We're full 3-2. On deck is the 9-hitter Shea Whitcomb. Payoff pitch is a fastball right on the corner. Got him looking. So a strikeout for Beckway, his first of the ball game. And Shea Whitcomb, the 9-hitter, will stride to the plate. Whitcomb from UC San Diego. Mostly played infield for the Aggies. He is playing just the DH today, just hitting from Newberry Park, California. He hit .314, 11 home runs, was an all-Western Conference first team. Of course, UC San Diego, the alma mater of Chris Bryant, Cape Cod alumnus. He played for the Chatham Anglers. Crazy thing about that is Chris Bryant really struggled with the Anglers. He hit just .223, 1 home run. Obviously went on to be one of the best players in the NL or in all of baseball with the Cubs. The 1-1 pitch. Fastball tails away, 2-1.
Everybody's got their own path. That's for sure. And Chris Bryant, a great example of that.
So way behind 2-1 on the 9-hitter. Fastball moves away. It's 3-1. Open stance from Whitcomb. Kind of rocks back and forth at the plate. A lot of movement in his stance. Wiggles the bat as he rocks back and forth from right foot to left foot. Slightly open. And he awaits the 3-1, misses away. It's ball 4. So Beckway loses Whitcomb. And he'll get the top of the order with Zach Daniels, who's 0 for 2 with a pair of strikeouts today.
Beckway just got to find a way to get back into the zone. The other dazzling stat from Nahas's line in the 4 scoreless innings, not only just the 10 strikeouts, but he only walked 1. And he recovered well from that walk, getting out of the inning with 2 strikeouts. Good news for Beckway, he only needs 1 more out here in the 5th.
Way's called for the balk as he tried to come set, so Whitcomb will advance to second base. He's now in scoring position with 2 outs in the top of the 5th. Looks like Way may have moved a little bit when he came set. You can't do that once you come set. If you move, you better be going home. Zach Daniels has to be relieved to see another face out there on the mound. He struck out twice at the expense of Joe Nahas. Beckway comes set this time and deals the first pitch. Curveball over the head. Daniels had to duck out of the way. It's 1-0. Orleans is a team this year hitting just .119 with runners in scoring position and 2 outs. The 1-0 pitch grounded out to the second baseman Gonzalez. He fields it out his hip, throws it over to first base, and Beckway is able to get out of the inning, evading the 1 walk and the balk. So we'll go into the bottom of the 5th. The Kettleers still lead 1-0. You're listening to Cotuit Kettleers Baseball on the Cape Cod Baseball Network. Out for his 5th inning of work for the Firebirds. The Kettleers were able to get to him in the 4th inning. They got a run on a double off the bat of Nick Gonzalez. And that was the first run that Seminaris allowed all season long so far. It took 11 innings and 3 outings for a ball club to get to Seminaris. Colton Kessler will get his 2nd crack at the left-handed pitcher. Then Mason McCorder and Cam Hill. Kessler struck out swinging on a 3-2 fastball in his first at-bat. First pitch is another fastball. He foils it away over the third base grandstand. As you mentioned earlier, Sam, a really nice crowd once again here at Lowell Park. The entire third base grandstand is entirely full. Been averaging right around 1,000 fans every ball game here.
Ooh.
Kettler fouls it off his leg. Falls to the ground. We'll see if he's okay.
You don't often see a player take a spill like that on a foul ball off their own foot. But Kess just basically did a 360 and then tumbled down to the ground. Hopefully he's all right.
He's got his head straight down in the ground. He looks like he's in a great deal of pain. Craig Moody, the trainer, is out to tend to him. Coach Roberts makes his way over. Looks like it might have fouled off his toe. Looks like he was grabbing at the front of his foot. Of course, as a catcher, it's not ideal.
No, this would be a tough loss for Cotuit. Cody Pasek, a very capable backup catcher, but Kessler brings a lot to the table defensively and is definitely a power threat at the plate, too.
He's done a great job of handling the Cotuit pitchers so far this season. One of the best backstops we've seen so far. As he slowly gets to his feet, he's really limping there. Doesn't look like he can put much pressure on that right foot. It looks like he's going to come out of the ball game. So expect Cody Pasek to be the pinch hitter. And he'll inherit an 0-2 count. As Kessler needs help off of the field. We hope he's all right. Hopefully it's just a stinger.
Good to see, too. Cam Hill, his Kentucky teammate, coming out there to help him off. But you never want to see that. Hopefully Colton Kessler is able to shake it off after this game and come back out. But not a good place to take a foul ball on the end of your toe like that, especially for him being a catcher.
So we'll wait as Cody Pasek probably has to throw his batting gloves on, get his elbow guard on, or whatever he wears at the plate. The ironic thing there with Kessler is he does wear the shin guard, but it can't cover your entire foot. It looks like the ball must have just snuck in front of the shin guard because it does go down the inner side, like left side of your shin if you're a left-handed hitter, and extend over towards his foot.
On like the tongue of your cleat, basically, yeah.
So it just hit him in the perfectly wrong spot. So Cody Pasek, as expected, comes to the plate. He inherits an 0-2 count, a tough spot. And of course, he'll do the catching from here on out. Pasek has been a nice backup for the Kettleers this season. He's made the most of his opportunities. Pasek comes into today hitting .333 with a pair of RBIs. A nice job as the backup catcher. It's hard when you get plugged in every once in a while. You don't know when you're going to play, and as he takes a changeup, it's now 1-2. Pasek, of course, the hometown guy, was a bullpen catcher for the Kettleers in the past. Finally gets his chance to actually play in some ball games, and he's done a great job. He grounds one up the middle. Ranging over is a shortstop McCabe, but he's not able to make the play. So Pasek reaches base on an infield single. We'll see what it scored as. Looks like that'll be scored a single for Cody Pasek.
I believe so. It was in no man's land between second and behind the mound. Give him a hit indeed. Good hustle by Pasek, called upon at the last second to adjust and just find a way to put a ball in play and get your team a base runner to lead things off in the bottom of the fifth.
And not only just come in off the bench, but inherit an 0-2 count. I mean, that's as hard as it gets. So we'll get our second look at Mason McCorder. Georgia State teammate of the starting pitcher, Joe Nahas.
Be quite the day for the Eagle boys if McCorder was able to make an impact at the plate. We all know how Nahas did on the mound.
He squares to bunt, pulls it back as the fastball misses high.
The power's there for McCorder. I'm excited to see him swing again.
Looks like he might be bunting all the way here, unfortunately, but on pace to get another at-bat, of course, maybe two. He squares early, awaits the pitch from Seminaris, who takes a long look at first. Pops the bunt up. It'll just be out of reach of the third baseman, Murray. You mentioned the power numbers for McCorder. You wonder how much he bunted this past spring. Drove 12 home runs out of the ballpark, 57 RBIs. Middle of the order bat for Georgia Southern. Still ahead 2-1. Seminaris comes set, takes another look at Pasek, deals the 2-1 pitch. He pulls back the bunt, but it's a called strike. So the top outside part of the strike zone, so it's 2-2. We'll see if Coach Roberts keeps the bunt on for his 8-hitter McWhorter. Pasek, an athletic catcher on first base, played ice hockey in high school. Coach Roberts says that's a lot of the reason why he thinks he's a good base runner. Takes a fastball that just misses off the plate away and will make it full.
He's scooting over there at first. Kind of doing a little two-step each way, playing with Seminaris on the mound, who's already proven that he likes to pay a lot of attention to the runner.
He's done a great job of holding these Kettleer runners on base so far today. Just one stolen base. It was Cam Hill. Ball's lined out into left field. Toriani ranges under it and makes the grab. So line out to left field off the bat of Mason McWhorter. He was not able to get the bunt down in his first 2 attempts. That brings up Cam Hill rather.
Cam Hill kind of does look like Mason Dodd. Doesn't he a little bit?
Both bat from the left side.
Yeah.
Similar build, a nice stocky big build.
Yeah, they kind of have that football player look to him. Of course, Mason Dodd actually did play football. We'll have to check and see if Cam Hill played football too. I would not be surprised.
With his speed, I would not be surprised if Cam Hill played some football. So just one away, Cam Hill from the left side, bat rests just above his shoulder. He singled on an infield hit in the 3rd inning. He chops another one over to first base. A nice pick by Raymond Gill. And he just gets the hustling Pasek at second base. So a fielder's choice, Cam Hill, will swap spots with Cody Pasek, at least a speed upgrade at first. That brings up the top of the order with Christian Robinson, who's 0 for 2 on the day. Robinson had a pair of hits against Chatham, a double and a single. 2 of just 5 hits for the Kettleers in that ball game. They dropped it 4-2 in favor of the Anglers. First pitch. Changeup just bites too low. 1-0. Cam Hill, of course, was able to swipe second base with 2 outs in the 3rd inning. We'll see if he's on the move here. The 1-0 to Robinson. Broken bat, ground ball down the first base line. Robinson will need some new lumber. He walks over towards the dugout to swap out the broken one for a new one and get some pine tar on it. That's what happens sometimes with a left-handed hitter. You're facing a left-handed pitcher. That ball will run in on your hands a little bit. You'll see a lot of broken bats. He comes back out with a new one. And we'll await the 1-1 pitch. Kettleers have 4 hits so far today against Seminaris. It's been a pitcher's duel through 4. About to be 5 for Seminaris as a pop-up into the infield. Shortstop McCabe calls it, and he'll make the grab. The Kettleers got 1 batter on base on an infield single, but the score remains 1-0 in favor of the Kets. We'll go into the top of the 6th inning. Top of the 6th inning, you're listening to Cotuit Kettleers Baseball on the Cape Cod Baseball Network.
Healthcare is the leading provider of healthcare services for residents and visitors of Cape Cod, with 2 acute care hospitals and more than 450 physicians. For more information, please visit capecodhealth.org. Cape Cod Healthcare, expert physicians, quality hospitals, superior care. Sam Niederman alongside Aram Layton, top of the 6th inning. Kettleers lead Orleans 1-0. Glad that you could join us on a Wednesday afternoon. No game for the Kettleers yesterday, a rainout against Wareham. That game to be made up on July the 8th. That is a Monday. It will be on the road at Spillane Field. Tomorrow, Kettleers have their Fenway Pro workout in Boston. A closed workout. Cotuit position players will work out in front of Major League Scouts at Fenway Park. Should be really fun. Ball club's got to be up bright and early for that one. A 6 a.m. arrival time of the park for a 6:15 a.m. departure on the bus.
Don't remind me. I'm setting my alarm now. I'm going to take the NyQuil at 9 p.m. right after this ball game and hope I can get up in time.
Orleans at the plate, visiting half of the 6th, Zach Kokoska. Only man in the Orleans lineup that has not struck out so far. 1 for 2 with an infield hit and a stolen base. Beck Way threw him a pitch. However, it has not been determined whether it was a ball or a strike. Home plate umpire Tom Ryberg having a little discussion with Beckway, and now Mike Roberts, who's outside the third base dugout. Maybe talking about whether Beckway was set on the rubber before his windup or something. Couldn't really pick up what Coach was saying there, but nevertheless, no balls and no strikes on Kokoska, the left-handed batter. And Way's first pitch, fastball for a called strike on the inner half of the plate.
My assumption there is they called him for another balk. Of course, there's nobody on base, so nothing happens. But he has that little bit of a stutter step when he comes set. And some umpires, I guess, will call that.
2-1. Weak grounder to short. Oviedo charges, takes it off a skip on the mound, and throws on to first for out number 1. Kokoska retired to lead things off in the visiting half of the 6th. Way had a balk called for him in the top of the 5th, his first inning of relief. He was able to work around a 2-out walk in that inning. He retires a leadoff batter here to face Tanner Murray. Orleans number 3 batter, 0 for 2 with a pair of strikeouts. Kettleers lead it 1-0 in the top of the 6th inning. Nobody on and 1 out. Chavers with an RBI fielder's choice to give Cotuit the lead, and that came back in the bottom of the 4th. Way's first pitch, fastball low and out. 1 ball and no strikes. Murray trying to spark something at the plate for Orleans. The Firebirds only hit .214 as a club. That is 9th in the Cape League. 1-0. Wild fastball that dives outside. And back to the backstop, 2-0.
They just haven't had to score much. You talk about the doubleheader against Wareham. They won both games by a score of 1-0. Sometimes with this staff, how dominant they've been, that's all you need is just 1 run.
But the 1 run in this contest going to Cotuit. It's 1-0 in the top of the 6th. And Way misses again with a fastball, this time at 95 miles an hour. 3 balls and no strikes on Murray. Nobody on and 1 out. Normal depth for the Cotuit defense. 3-0. Fastball nowhere close. A 4-pitch walk to the number 3 batter. Murray's aboard with a walk. 1 out in the top of 6, and here comes Max Troiani. Troiani comes up to the plate, cleanup batter, 0 for 2 today. Struck out in the first against Jonah Haas and then flew out to right field in the 4th. Runner on first in Murray. 1 down, and that moves the Cotuit middle infield to double play depth. Schmidt plays in at the edge of the grass at third. Way a throw over to first, way high, just tipped out of the air by McWhorter over there. McWhorter not that tall for a first baseman, right at about 5'9" or 10. Had to reach up and he knocked it down off the end of his mitt. Time called and Mike Roberts walks out of the dugout. He might sense a little bit of danger here on the hill. Infield comes in along with Cody Pasek, who now catches for Colton Kessler, who was injured in the last inning. Activity in the Kettleers bullpen, but no signal for a new pitcher.
On that pickoff there, it looked like McWhorter had to fight the sun as it sets behind the third base line. kind of behind the grandstand. When you're looking at the angle from the mound from first, the sun's kind of right behind the head of Beck Way. The second he missed that ball, he put his sunglasses on, and it might be a situation where if you know it as a base runner, you might be able to lean a little bit more, as the first baseman might not be able to see the ball that well.
Mike Roberts still talking with Beck Way, and he uses up all the time he can to stall for a new pitcher. Kettleers about to send a righty out of the bullpen, and we'll be back with that new pitcher when we return. Here in Cotuit, Kettleers 1 and Orleans nothing on the Cape Cod Baseball Network. On for Cotuit, top of the 6th inning, 1 man aboard and 1 out. Kettleers up 1-0, and it's Kyle Nicholas who comes out of the pen, a right-hander, 6'4", 210 pounds out of Ball State. It's his 4th appearance on the season. He has tossed 7 innings so far, only allowing 1 run and 3 hits. He has walked 2 and struck out 10. Mike Roberts staying with the velocity and the heat on the mound.
He hasn't brought in a guy that throws below 95 so far.
No.
It's been amazing.
Yeah.
And he might continue that with maybe going to Holden and Powell after Kyle Nicholas, but it seems to be working so far, and Nicholas is a guy that can run it up to high 90s, and a guy that we know a lot of scouts are on already this summer, and he's looked really, really good as a back-end guy for the Kettleers.
Jonah Haas started the game for Cotuit, went 4 scoreless, struck out 10. Beck Way works an inning and a third, doesn't allow a hit, walked 2. He's responsible for the runner on first base in Murray, and he struck out 1. 1-0 Cotuit, top 6, 1 on with 1 out. Max Troiani, the cleanup batter, back at the plate, 0 for 2. Nicholas a throw to first, not a bad move over there to check on Murray, who dove back in safely. Shadows continue to cross over the infield at Lowell Park. A lot of left field shaded. Casey Schmidt plays a step in on the grass. Another snap throw to first by Nicholas. McWhorter tried to swat it down on Murray, the runner, who dove back in again. Nicholas ready at the set. Closed off. First pitch, Troiani takes. 92-mile-an-hour fastball outside. 1 ball and no strikes. Cotuit looking to make it 5 consecutive wins against Orleans of the regular season going back to last summer. Kettleers won all 4. 1-0 here on the top of the 6th in favor of Cotuit. Runner going, swing and a miss by Troiani. Pasek, a low throw that skids off the mound and took a bounce to Gonzalez at second. Murray steals second easily.
Lucky that didn't hit the pitcher Nicholas. You see that happen sometimes where they duck down and look the other way, and all of a sudden you get one right in your back. Every once in a while the catcher will choke it a little bit too much, grip the ball too tight, and it looked like that's what Pasek did there. He basically spiked it about 60 feet right to the front of the mound.
Probably released it a little too late as well. A stolen base for Murray. He's on second. 1-0 Cotuit in the top of the 6th with 1 out. Ball and a strike. Troiani takes outside again. 2 balls and 1 strike.
And if you're Orleans with a guy in scoring position just 1 away, this is, of course, the guy you want at the plate in Troiani. Came into today leading the Cape in batting average. He's been red hot. since he got to the Cape.
Nicholas closes off out of the stretch. Murray skips off second, nobody holding him on. 2-1 breaking ball, taken away foul. 2-2. Kettleers with the lead on the strength of Shaver's RBI fielder's choice back in the fourth. 1 run on 4 hits and 1 error for Cotuit at home. No runs on 1 hit and no errors for Orleans on the road. Firebirds trying to level it up or maybe even break through with Troiani at the plate. 2-2. Wave and a miss. Slider in the dirt. Nicholas struck him out. Good drop third strike throw by Pasek down to first to take care of business. 2 away in the visiting half of 6. Pasek had to shuffle and make sure that Murray stayed put at second base, and he did. Still running in scoring position for Orleans, and Eddie McCabe, the shortstop, back at the plate. He's 0 for 2 with a couple of strikeouts himself. 1-0 Cotuit. Runner on second with 2 outs. Nicholas, a first pitch slider that dives below the knees. Ball 1. A big righty out of Ball State, ready at the belt. Murray leaning off second, nobody holding. 1-0 fastball low. 2 balls and no strikes. McCabe, the shortstop out of Georgetown, has started in 111 career games for the Hoyas. It's his 7th game on Cape Cod for Orleans. 2-0, check swing, went around according to Tom Ryberg behind home plate. Good slider off the plate by Nicholas, 2-1. Cotuit 1, Orleans nothing. Top of the 6th with a man on second and 2 away. 2-2 slider, just a little low. 3 balls and a strike. Nicholas has a sign from Pasek. 3-1 count on McCabe. Breaking pitch in the dirt again, and he's walked him. McCabe works a walk. First and second now for Orleans with 2 gone, and Ray Gill at the plate.
Gill, one of the better power hitters in this lineup, had a great year at the University of Miami. One of the best offenses in the entire country this past season. He's got a track record. He's coming into the Cape with a little bit of a chip on his shoulder, and this is a good situation if you're Orleans. This is one of the guys you want up as well. If it's not Troiani, it's Gill.
Gill had a walk-off home run in Game 1 against Wareham on Sunday, a 1-0 win for Orleans. He swings to the first pitch from Nicholas for strike 1. 96 miles an hour on a fastball. Gill out of Gulliver Prep in Miami. 37th round draft selection out of high school by the Oakland A's. 2 on for him with 2 outs. 0-1 breaking pitch, or fastball rather, off the plate. 1 ball and 1 strike. Kettleers on top 1-0 in the top of the 6th. Beck Way started the inning on the mound and faced 2 batters. He was tugged after walking the lead runner in Tanner Murray, who's at second base. 1-1 from Nicholas. Slider nipped away foul off the end of the bat. 1-2. Kokoska grounded to short. Murray walked, then stole second. Troiani struck out. And McCabe just walked. Both runners lead without anybody holding on. First and second with 2 out. Nicholas looks back. 1-2. Hard fastball on the outside corner, called for strike 3. Kyle Nicholas gets the job done on the hill for the Kettleers, getting the final 2 outs here in the 6th inning, and Orleans strands a pair. No runs on no hits, no errors, and a couple left, and we are on to the bottom of the 6th inning. Kettleers lead it 1-0 on the Cape Cod Baseball Network. Having a great Wednesday. Bottom of the 6th inning, Kettleers lead 1-0 over Orleans. And a new pitcher on for Orleans, a right-hander from Texas, Cam Fields, 6'2", 190 pounds, a junior from Garland, Texas. He is 0-1 on the summer so far in 3 appearances, a 7.20 earned run average. 5 innings pitched. He's allowed 7 hits in that span. Struck out 5 and walked 2. He looks at Nick Gonzalez here and deals him a first pitch fastball outside, 1-0. Kettleers lead on the strength of a run that Gonzalez scored. Parker Chavers brought him home on a fielder's choice back in the 4th. 1-0, roped out into left. That's down for a base hit. Nick Gonzalez aggressive early in the count again. He's got his second hit of the ball game, now 2 for 3 with a double and a run scored.
And that guy has just been a hit machine. We saw him working the other way earlier in the season. Now he's really turning on balls, driving them to left field, and he's just locked in at the plate right now.
He leads things off again with a hit. He's on first base. Casey Schmidt comes up to the plate. 1 for 2 with a little single into right. Back in the 4th inning. Fields out of the stretch, closed off. He whips in a fastball called for a strike, 93 miles an hour. He can sling it. He's got a lot of potential, Fields. A former high school quarterback at Lakeview Central. He actually drawn a lot of recruiting interest for football out of high school. Thought he might play both at Texas. Instead, he stuck to baseball as his primary sport. 1 ball on 1 strike on Schmidt, who was showing bunt on that last pitch, but pulled it back. Final line on Andrew Seminaris, the starter for Orleans. 5 innings, 4 hits. He gave up 1 run, didn't walk anyone, and struck out 3. 1-1 fastball low. 2-1 to Schmidt.
A little more on Fields as a quarterback. He actually had 12 offers, including Utah, Fresno State, Indiana, your school in Indiana, Minnesota, Nevada. Some really good schools out there. Had to be a tough decision for him.
Yeah. Kind of a hodgepodge. Colorado State and Fresno State thrown in there. 2-1. Fastball low and out. 3-1 on Schmidt. Of course, it wouldn't have been while Jim McElwain was at Colorado State to recruit him. One of the QB gurus out there. Just would have missed him. 1-0 Cotuit in the bottom of 6. Gonzalez on first after the leadoff single. And Casey Schmidt works a walk on 5 pitches. Fields misses up with a fastball. No need for a sacrifice there. Both runners safe at first and second. Nobody out, and here comes Parker Chavers. Chavers 0 for 2. Struck out looking in the second. Brought home a run on a fielder's choice back in the 4th. That's the difference right now in the home half of the 6th. 1-0 Kettleers. First and second with nobody out. Nobody holding on the runners, and Fields spins back to get Gonzalez back to second base. First pitch fastball, strike 1. Fields in the shadows on the mound. The lanky righty comes set at the belt. 0-1. Chavers thought about bunting and dropped it down. 1 ball and 1 strike.
You'll see coaches a lot give you 1 strike to try and hit it. Once you take a strike or swing through one, they'll put the bunt on. Seems to be what he did here with Shavers, and expect him to be squaring around again here. First and second, no outs.
1-1. Shavers breaks the play on a bunt, unable to connect on a fastball low and inside. 1 ball and 2 strikes now. Gonzalez singled on the second pitch that he saw. Schmidt walked on 5 pitches. First and second with nobody out. Kettleers looking to extend a 1-0 lead. 1-2. Got him with a good slider on the inner half. Good pitch from Fields. Swing and a miss by Chavers. That's a first out of the inning.
Great job to settle back in by Fields. Ended up losing Casey Schmidt after giving up a single to Nick Gonzalez and buried that curveball there to Shavers, a good hitter and an even better hitter against right-handed pitching.
Adam Oviedo's turn, a former TCU player ready to transfer to Oral Roberts, and a native Texan himself against Fields from Garland, Texas. 2 on with 1 out. And a slider down and in for ball 1. Kettleers have the advantage, 1-0. Looking to add to it in the home half of the 6th inning against the first arm out of the Orleans bullpen. Adam Seminaris worked 5 innings of 1-run ball. 1-0. Fastball called for a strike. Level it up at 1-1. Oviedo 0 for 2 with a pair of groundouts to the left side, 1 to third base and 1 to shortstop. Cotuit has out-hit Orleans today 5-1. Pitching for Orleans has kept their offense at least within a run. 1-1, skied to shallow center. Daniels charging in. Could it also be Soretti, the second baseman, who does make the play in short right center? Oviedo retired on a pop out for the second out in the 6th. Fields lets the first 2 batters of this inning get on. Gonzalez the single, Schmidt the walk. He comes back to strike out Shavers and then get Oviedo to pop out. 2 down with 2 on, and Arajanu at the plate. The switch hitter bats from the left side against the righty. First pitch fastball hammered into the gap, right center field. Here comes Gonzalez. It's into the gap. Arajanu with a run-scoring double. Schmidt following behind, and the Kettleers take a 3-0 lead. Arajanu with a triple all the way into third, sliding head first.
Great to see from Arajanu, who had been struggling 0 for his last 12. Picks up a huge 2 insurance runs for the Kettleers here in the bottom of the 6th and a 2-out triple to clear the bases.
Arajanu drives home his 8th and 9th runs of the summer. Great to see indeed. He got on top of that baseball, pulled it into the gap. Kokoska wasn't really playing in the gap, and it was a slow roller that didn't even get all the way to the wall, allowing Anu to plate 2 and get up to third base himself, and he can run too. He was able to do it without a problem. Cody Pasek, first pitch swinging, ground ball to second. Soretti makes the play, but the Kettleers are able to get 2 more on the board. Cotuit 3 and Orleans nothing. An RBI triple that scores 2 by Arajanu. And it's a 2-run inning for Cotuit on 2 hits with no errors and 1 man left in scoring position. And we have played 6. 3-0 Good Guys on the Cape Cod Baseball Network. To it for the top of the 7th inning. Kettleers up 3-0. Arajanu with a 2-run triple in that last inning to extend the Cotuit advantage. Kyle Nicholas still on the mound for the Kettleers in his first full inning of work. He got the final 2 outs of the 6th, rather. And he's got a chance here against the bottom of the Orleans order, Soretti, Avidia, and Whitcomb. 7, 8, 9 due up for the Firebirds. Three 0 Kettleers, top of 7. Here's Danny Soretti, who's 0 for 1 with a walk today. Bounced out to the pitcher his last time up, and he takes a 96-mile-an-hour fastball up for ball 1. Sam Niederman alongside Aram Layton, our entire Kettleers media crew. Happy to have you at Lowell Park. Shadows across the diamond, only right field and the right side of the infield in the sun. Slicing ball into the left center gap. Chavers rounds in and makes the catch. Soretti retired on a fly ball to left to lead things off here in the 7th. Kyle Nicholas gets a leadoff man. That brings it around to David Avidia, the catcher, who's 0 for 2 with a couple of strikeouts. Went down looking back in the 5th inning. Pinch hitter for Orleans, Josh Zamora, comes up to the plate. He subs out Avidia, the catcher, who finishes the day 0 for 2. Zamora comes up, and he bats from the right side with 1 out and nobody aboard. First pitch from Nicholas, hard fastball outside, ball 1. Zamora, an infielder from Nevada, former Mountain West Freshman of the Year in 2018. 5'11", 170, a junior from Foothill Ranch, California. Hit .320 this spring, 8 homers and 38 runs driven in. A really good sophomore campaign. Kettleers in front 3-0. Top of 7. 1 out and nobody aboard. Defense straight up and at normal depth. Fastball from Nicholas. Tailed away foul on the right side. 2-1. How do you think Coach Roberts goes about the pitchers late in this ball game with Nicholas already into this one?
You figure Nicholas probably goes one more. We have seen him stretched out as many as 3, but with Holden Powell heading to Team USA soon, you figure you might want to squeeze out a couple more innings out of him. And he's a guy that can shut down this Orleans team. We saw what he could do in his first outing for the Kettleers.
3-1 to Zamora. Nick Swinney getting loose down in the pen for the Kettleers, a left-hander out of NC State. Base is empty with 1 out in the 7th. 3-0 Kettleers. 3-1 pitch. Wild fastball in the other batter's box, and Zamora, the pinch hitter, works a walk with 1 out.
We know Nicholas is a guy that can strike out plenty of batters, but of course the other issue with Nicholas is the control, and sometimes he'll lose a little bit of control and fall behind hitters. We haven't seen it too much so far this season. We saw it more in the spring, and now a little bit of overthrowing so far this inning from Nicholas.
Shea Whitcomb, the DH, steps back in. 0 for 1 with a strikeout and a walk his last time up. He takes a breaking ball low and outside. 1 ball, no strikes. Runner on first for Orleans and Zamora. Double play depth for the Cotuit defense up the middle. Nicholas ready from the stretch. 1-0. Fastball low at the ankles. 2 balls and no strikes. Kettleers in the home white pinstripes. Orleans in the red tops trimmed in white. Typically a look that they wear at home. Don't always wear the white pants on the road. It is one of the freshest looks in the Cape League. Throw over to first to check on the runner and Zamora. Nothing doing. McWhorter, the man that holds him on. Athletic stance with a knee bend at first. Whitcomb in open stance in the right-handed batter's box. 1 on with 1 out. 2-0 pitch. Breaking pitch away. Did not go around on a check swing. 3 balls and no strikes.
You got to figure if Nicholas falls behind here, he might only have 1 or 2 more batters. Don't want to put the tying run at the plate for the top of the order.
Hasn't had the same kind of control that he's had in his first 3 outings. 1 on with 1 out. Here's a 3-0. Fastball nowhere close at the shoulders. A 4-pitch walk to Whitcomb. Back-to-back walks for Kyle Nicholas with 1 out. Orleans in business, first and second, with only 1 out in the visiting half of the 7th inning. And the tying run coming to the plate, and Zach Daniels, the leadoff man.
So Coach Roberts will stick with one of his best back-end arms. I think he's earned that so far this year, has Nicholas, with how good he's been. See if he can recapture the strike zone against Zach Daniels, who's 0 for 3 today. But you figure if he loses Daniels, that's got to be the end of the line.
Cody Pasek, a visit to the mound to check on his big right-hander from Ball State. Pasek, a sub for Colton Kessler, who exited the 5th inning with an injury after fouling a ball off the tip of his cleat. Zach Daniels at the plate, 0 for 3 with a ground out to second base his last time up in the 5th. First and second, 1 out, nobody holding on. Pitch 1, wave and a miss. 92 miles an hour on a fastball, and he started swinging when it was already in Pasek's mitt.
Surprised to see him swinging at a fastball. That might have been a ball after Nicholas walked 2 straight batters. Figure he might be taking there, but chased one out of the zone, and that's what Nicholas can make you do with his high velocity.
3-0 Cotuit in the 7th. 0-1, wave and a miss on a good slider outside. Took off a good 9 miles an hour and still was able to spot it on the outside corner. Nicholas gets ahead, much needed, 0-2. Whitcomb, a very greedy lead at first without anybody holding on. Short lead for the lead runner at second in Zamora. Nicholas sent, looks back, 2-strike pitch. Hard fastball up at the chin, 94 miles an hour. 1-2 to Daniels. Kettleers extended their lead in the bottom of the 6th inning. Arajanu with a 2-run triple. Tying run at the plate for Orleans and Zach Daniels. 2 on with 1 out. 1-2. Slider taken in the gap. Right center field. That ball is down. It's going to score some runs. Zamora coasting into the plate. Whitcomb raved around third. Both of them come in to score. Daniels slides in head first with a 2-run triple. Orleans an answer in the top of the 7th. Zach Daniels comes up and trims the deficit to 1. It's a 3-2 ball game.
And how about that, a pair of 2-run triples. A great 2-strike swing from Zach Daniels, who was struggling all day, a pair of strikeouts. Took the fastball, let it get deep, and drove it the other way. Let Nicholas supply the power on that one, and he flew around the bases. You see why he's the leadoff guy, and you see why he plays center field. Zach Daniels can move.
Zach Daniels produces just the 2nd hit of the night for Orleans, but it gives them their first runs. It's 3-2 Cotuit still, but only 1 out in the 7th. First pitch swinging for Zach Kokoska. He flies it to left. Shavers under it. He's got it for out number 2. Daniels tags from third. Throw from Shavers. Did not. Safe the call at home plate, and Orleans ties it. A sac fly by Zach Kokoska, and now Cody Pasek arguing with Tom Ryberg, the home plate umpire.
And Pasek needs to be careful with Kessler hurt. He's the only other catcher on the roster. I think Nemeth, the 3rd catcher, is not active. And I don't know who the emergency catcher is, but what a throw from Shavers. Just took Pasek a little bit to the left. A great job to try and dive and make the tag. It looked like he might have got him there. Pasek really believed he got him. You could tell by the way he reacted. But nonetheless, this game's tied up.
A routine fly ball to left for the 2nd out. Shavers a really strong throw, but Daniels had some speed, and he beat the tag according to the home plate umpire by just a hair. It was a 50-50 bang-bang play. Now Tanner Murray. He takes a fastball upstairs, 1-0. 0 for 2, 2 strikeouts, a walk and a steal his last time up in the 6th. Orleans has tied it. 3 runs coming home on 1 hit in this inning. 2-0 on the batter and Murray. Kyle Nicholas got Soretti to fly out to left. Walked Josh Zamora, then walked Shea Whitcomb. First and second with only 1 out. Zach Daniels delivered a 2-run triple. And on the very next pitch, Kokoska ties it with the RBI sac fly to left. 3 runs apiece for either side. Cotuit out hitting Orleans 6-2, but that doesn't matter here in the top of the 7th. 2 outs, nobody on. Swing and a miss by Murray. 2 balls and 2 strikes at the plate. Nicholas rocking back and forth on the mound for the windup. 2-2. Zipped the fastball at the letters. Full count on Murray. Orleans quiet at the plate all day, but they come up with a 3 spot here in the visiting half of the 7th. Base is empty with 2 outs. 3-2 to Murray. Fastball inside, ball 4. Kyle Nicholas has walked his 3rd batter of this inning. His 4th batter of this outing. It just has not been his day. And he's still on the mound to face Max Troiani. A right-handed bat, the cleanup bat in Orleans lineup, who is 0 for 3 with 2 strikeouts. So Mike Roberts still trusting his big righty out of the pen to face off against Troiani, the cleanup man. 3-3 game, tied in the top of the 7th. 1 on with 2 outs. Troiani way behind a fastball, swing and a miss. Nick Swinney still getting loose in the Cotuit pen, a left-hander. Mike Roberts on the perch in the dugout, looking out to his big right-hander on the mound. 0-1. Troiani just gets a piece of it, foul, back to the backstop. No balls and 2 strikes. Orleans a comeback here in the 7th to tie it. 3 runs apiece. No balls and 2 strikes at the plate. 1-2. Nicholas pumps it in at 96 miles an hour, but misses up top.
Nicholas just hasn't had it today. He hasn't looked as sharp as he's looked in the past, of course, falling behind hitters. But interesting to see Robert stick with him through all this.
Hard slider way upstairs at 2-2 now. And Nicholas signaling to his catcher Pasek he wants a new baseball. Didn't quite like his release point or grip on that last pitch either. Orleans has leveled things up at the top of the 7th inning. A 2-run triple by Zach Daniels made it a 3-2 game. Zach Kokoska drove him in on a sac fly to left to tie it up at 3. Runner on first and Murray. 2 down and the 2-2. Runner going. Chopper on the left side. Taken by Schmidt. Quick throw to first. Got him in time. That's out number 3. Kyle Nicholas not happy as he walks back to the third base dugout, but is able to get out of the inning with this ball game still level. Orleans ties it up. 3 runs on 1 hit. No errors and 1 man left on base, and we are on to the bottom of 7. Stretch time at Lowell Park. You're listening to Cotuit Baseball on the Cape Cod Baseball Network. For the Kettleers in the bottom of the 7th, tie ball game against Orleans, 3 runs apiece. That's John Mellencamp, Cherry Bomb, Sam Niederman here alongside Arm Layton. Glad that you could join us. Cotuit back at the plate, 8-9-1. Mason McWhorter, then Cam Hill, and the top of the order with Christian Robinson. Cam Fields still on the bump for Orleans. The right-hander kicks and deals a fastball on the inside corner for a called strike. 0-1 on McWhorter. 0 for 2 in his Kettleer debut. Ground out to first and a fly ball to left. 0-1 fastball, hard and out at 94 miles an hour. 1 ball and 1 strike. New catcher for Orleans in this inning. Rob Emery behind the plate out of San Francisco. 1-1. Lined in the air, foul on the left field line. 1-2. That's it for David Avidia, the original catcher. He finished up 0 for 2 at the plate with a couple of strikeouts. Josh Zamora pinch hit for him in the last half inning and walked and came around to score a run. 2-2 on McWhorter. Fields a deep breath out of the windup. Back to the plate. Hard fastball fouled at the plate, and it ate up Emery. He lost his mask on that foul tip. Tom Ryberg, the home plate umpire, gives it back to him, gives him a moment. Three ball game in the bottom of the 7th. 2-2. Fastball, tailed away foul on the left side again. McWhorter stays alive. Orleans posted up a 3 spot in the top of the 7th inning. A 2-run triple by Daniels and a sac fly by Kukuska. 2-2. Fastball in, checked off foul. McWhorter just got a piece of it to stay alive. Sun setting in Cotuit. It's behind the trees on the third base side. Got about an hour more of light, and no lights obviously at Lowell Park. 2-2. Slider hangs high and away. 3-2 on McWhorter. Daniels playing way over in the left center gap for Orleans. Firebirds leaving a big gaping gap in the middle of center field, and now Daniels trots back to reset. Foul ball back into the fence. McWhorter battling, still 3-2. Initially they were playing him to hit an opposite field. Now a little more straight up. Daniels still offset to left center. 3-2. Nubbed away, foul again.
Nice little battle brewing right here between McWhorter and the pitcher. He's pretty much just going to the fastballs every single pitch, and McWhorter's been able to catch up to it, just not quite able to get the barrel on it.
3-2. Checked his swing on a slider, and he got him. Cam Fields took a little bit off of it, and he's able to get McWhorter on strikes for the first out in the home half of the 7th. One down, nobody aboard. Kettleers tied with Orleans at 3 apiece. Here's Cam Hill. 1 for 2, reached on an infield single and stole back in the 3rd inning. Reached on a fielder's choice in the 5th. He swings and misses at a slider down and out. 0-1.
With that stolen base, tied for first again in the Cape with 7 stolen bases, tied with Braden Ward of Wareham.
0-1. A bunt attempt that arcs back foul into the parking lot. Don't see that every day on a bunt. That thing went a mile high.
Looks like the fastball ran in on his hands. He almost just dropped the bat right away. Almost nervous probably that it was going to hit him in the hand. Sometimes it's just self-defense at that point with the bunt.
Foul ball on the 0-2. Hill just stays alive. We talked a little bit about it with Coach Mike Roberts before the ball game. He likes his hitters to choke up, not even just with 2 strikes, but all the time if they can, and shorten up the swing. And Cam Hill's one of those guys that does that.
Not very many do. In today's game, he talked about it a little bit with the whole strikeout or home run era, which the Kettleers are following suit pretty well so far, leading the league in both of those categories.
And there's the announcer's jinx. Hill strikes out there, or pulled a string on him. A good slider from Fields. Back-to-back strikeouts for the big righty out of Texas to begin the bottom of the 7th.
You see Wareham's one of the few teams out here that does it the other way. They lead the league in hits, they're last in home runs, and they lead in batting average. We saw what they can do. A scrappy team that can string together singles, and that is kind of the recipe for success with a wood bat league and really good pitching all around.
Christian Robinson's turn. He's 0 for 3. And he swings at the first pitch, a strike. Mike Roberts before the game, I'll never get over that line where he said that he told his players this year, if you strike out and you come back to the dugout and start high-fiving people, you can just keep on walking right out through that gate. 0-1. Fastball high and tight on Robinson, 1-1.
We know Coach Roberts does not like strikeouts, and it's got to be something that's been frustrating for him the whole season going into today with 108. But he didn't seem too concerned. He knows they're going to come around, and seems like there's been better approaches so far the last few ball games. We've only had, until those last 2 strikeouts, there was only 3 strikeouts in the ball game for the Kettleers.
And on the opposite side of things, Orleans has struck out a ton. A grand total of 12 Firebirds have gone down swinging. One in at least every single inning except for the 7th. The one in which they tied this game up with a 3 spot. Robinson flies it to shallow right. Kokoska comes in to make the play. And that's the inning. A 1-2-3 inning of work out of the bullpen for Cam Fields. Kettleers unable to get anything going, and we are on to the 8th inning of play. Cotuit 3 and Orleans 3. We'll be right back in just a moment. This is Cotuit Kettleers Baseball on the Cape Cod Baseball Network.
Back to Lowell Park. If you've been with us through all 8 innings, thank you for joining us. Aram Layton alongside my partner, Sam Niederman. It's been a great ball game so far. We're all knotted up at 3. Going into the top of the 8th, the new pitcher is Nick Swinney from NC State, making his 2nd appearance for the Kettleers. He's from Huntersville, North Carolina, and William A. Huff High School. This spring, he was 7-1 with a 4.61 ERA and 56 2/3 innings pitched. He struck out 95. We'll get the middle of this Orleans order. Eddie McCabe, the shortstop, Ray Gill, the first baseman, and then Danny Soretti, the second baseman. McCabe 0 for 2 with a pair of strikeouts and a walk so far this ball game. Of course, those 2 strikeouts came at the expense of Joe Nahas. 2 of his 10 in his 4 innings of work today. First pitch is lifted in the air. We'll see if it's playable. It'll fly out of play. McCorder not able to have a chance at that one. So Swinney ahead 0-1 on the foul ball. The 0-1 is lifted out into right center. Giving chase is Robinson, and he'll call off Cam Hill and make the grab. So a quick out here for the first batter for Swinney, and he'll get Ray Gill, the first baseman out of the University of Miami. Gill, a 37th round draft pick by the Oakland A's out of Gulliver Prep. Elected to go to Miami as he lines one up the middle. It'll just get past Oviedo for a base hit. So Gill gets his first hit of the ball game. He's 1 for 4. There's 1 on, 1 out for Danny Soretti, the second baseman. Soretti, one of the younger players on this Firebirds roster, just a sophomore. Had a great freshman season with the Tar Heels. Batting 7th today for the Firebirds. He fouls the first pitch straight back. Swinney ahead 0-1. Soretti from Berkeley Heights, New Jersey, and Governor Livingston High School. He bats from the right side. Swinney, the southpaw, takes a long look at Gill at first. Snap throw over. Gill dives in back in time. Swinney stands tall on the mound, 6'4", 180 pounds. He comes set high at the chest, kicks and deals. 0-1 gets the corner. He's ahead 0-2. So Swinney way ahead 0-2. Raymond Gill, the runner on first, reached on a base hit. Not much of a threat to run at first, only a pair of stolen bases for the Canes. He spins a curveball, just able to get a piece of it. Is Soretti. We'll do 0-2 again. Soretti looking for his first hit of the season so far. 0 for 4 coming into today. As he chases a curveball in the dirt. Blocked by Pasek. And Soretti's trying to argue that he got a piece of it. But home plate umpire Tom Rivera says it's strike 3. Advancing to second, though, on the pass ball, or wild pitch rather, is Ray Gill. But it'll be a strikeout and out number 2 for Nick Swinney. And he'll get the 9-hitter, or the 8-hitter rather, Rob Emery. We've seen 3 different Orleans Firebirds hit in this 8-hole. Of course, it was David Avidia who started the game at catcher. Then Josh Zamora, pinch hit for the catcher. He reached on a walk. And then Rob Emery, pinch hit for Zamora, or replaced him rather, at catcher. And Zamora is an infielder. He fouls off the first pitch straight back. It's 0-1. The 0-1 pitch is lifted out into right field. Robinson should have that easily, and he makes a grab above his head. So one runner able to reach on a base hit. It's Raymond Gill, but that's it for Orleans in the top of the 8th. We'll go into the bottom of the 8th, still knotted up at 3-3. pitcher for the Firebirds, it's Michael Hobbs. He's making his 5th appearance of the summer for the Firebirds. So far, he's 0-0. He's pitched 5 scoreless innings of work. He's given up 6 hits, and he's struck out a pair. Hobbs, a junior out of St. Mary's. Mostly worked as the closer for St. Mary's. Picked up 7 saves in 35 innings pitched. He finishes up his last warm-up pitch, and he'll get ready to face Nick Gonzalez, Casey Schmidt, and Parker Shavers. Part of the order that's done the most damage so far today for the Kettleers. Gonzalez 2 for 3 today. He scored twice on a double and a single. Gonzalez has been one of the bright spots in what's been mostly a struggling offense. Came into today hitting .286 in his last 5 ball games. Today's performance will put him up over .300 in his last 6 games. Works out of the windup. Hobbs fires in a fastball. Strike 1. Hobbs attended Corona High School in Corona, California. Alma mater of former Red Sox and current Dodger Joe Kelly. One of the fan favorites for the Red Sox when he was here. 0-1 pitch is lifted out into right. Under it is Kokoska. He camps under and makes the grab. I'll never forget Joe Kelly. Who was it that was charging the mound on him, and he basically gestured like, come here.
Yeah.
Come to
it. I don't remember. You're going to have to YouTube that.
While we research who fought Joe Kelly, Casey Schmidt will stride to the plate with 1 away. I think that's kind of what made Joe Kelly the fan favorite.
Anybody would. Yeah. Are you good? Yeah. It's. I don't think I could do that.
First pitch curveball taken for a ball. Why do I want to say it was Bryce Harper?
Maybe it was. On another note, I have a weird feeling this is going to end in a tie.
I'm wrong. It was Tyler Austin, a classic Red Sox-Yankees brawl.
No.
Tyler Austin's not a small dude. Well, it's lifted in the air. It'll stay in the infield. Calling for it's the third baseman, Murray, and he makes the grab.
I think this is going to end in a tie. I can feel it.
We know how Coach Roberts feels about ties. He's not a big fan of them.
No. The sun's going down. Both teams have brought in bullpen pitchers. Not much offense today. Orleans had the spark in the 7th to score the 3 runs, and I'm not sure we'll see any more after that from either club.
So Parker Shavers with his 4th at-bat. He takes a first pitch fastball down. Hobbs mostly throws sinkers. We'll refer to that as a sinker from now on. It's got some nice late action to it. Bites down. That one bit down too far and out of the strike zone. So Shavers is 0 for 3 with a pair of strikeouts. He did score a run on a fielder's choice. Ball crowds him inside. He dances out of the way of it. It's 2-0. That fielder's choice scored Gonzalez in the 4th. Stood as a 1-0 lead, the only run of the ball game for a good amount of time until the 6th inning. The Kettleers piled on 2 more. As Shavers takes a fastball in the outside corner, he didn't like it. It's 2-1. But then Orleans was able to get all 3 back in the 7th inning. And that's where we stand now with this thing all knotted up. He lines one over the shortstop's head for a base hit. So Shavers gets his first hit of the ball game. It's a line drive to left field. And he'll extend this inning for Adam Oviedo, who is also 0 for 3 on the ball game with a pair of strikeouts.
Good patience by Shavers in that at-bat. Worked the 2-1 count, got the pitch that he liked, and then drove it oppo.
So Oviedo, who saw his 8-game on-base streak snapped at Chatham, is trying not to make it consecutive games of not reaching base now. First pitch, misses high. So he's mixed in a sinker with a fastball. Might be a hard changeup, because that one was 92 on the gun. He's mostly been working in the mid-80s. Shavers a modest leadoff first. A threat to run, though. That one's a fastball again, 1-1. we saw him go to that sinker more against the left-handed hitters. Going to the fastball against the right-handed hitting Adam Oviedo. Picks off over to first. Shavers dives back easily. So 3 runs on 7 hits for Cotuit. 3 runs on 3 hits for Orleans. And that play at the plate could end up being a huge call in this ball game, as Cody Pasek really thought he tagged him out as Shavers is on the move. He slides into second base, and he's in there easily as he steals second base.
Yeah, that could be the deciding factor in whether this thing ends up being a Cotuit win or a 3-3 tie, or maybe even an Orleans win. Bang bang play at the plate, tying run coming home to score on a sac fly by Zach Kokuska.
That ball was lifted out into a straightaway left field, and Shavers camped under it, did a good job of coming in. A strong throw, took a little bit, Pasek a little bit to the left of home plate, but he did a good job of diving back and making the tag. It was bang bang like you said, Sam. And that's the most animated we've seen Cody Pasek, who seems like a pretty calm guy. He jumped right up, and he was in the face of home plate umpire Tom Rivera.
I like the passion, though, from Pasek on that play. I thought that was really good to see.
Well, he's been a Kettleer fan for a long time before he even played for them, so it's in his blood, you'd think, and he really wanted that call. And like you said, it was something nice to see. These guys really want to win. Adam Oviedo can do his job to try and help the Kettleers win with a runner on second, 2 outs. He takes another sinker this time. It's 2-2.
Well, the ironic part for the Kettleers in this ball game is that they started off so hot on the mound with 10 strikeouts from Joe Nahas across 4 innings. The thing that might do them in, though, for a tie is the 3 walks that came in the 7th inning in which Orleans scored 3.
The 2-2 pitch to Oviedo. Misses down and away. It's full. Kokoska playing very shallow in right field. Just about 100 feet beyond the edge of the grass in the infield. Center field and left field playing pretty shallow as well. Oviedo does have 3 home runs in the season. That's tied for the lead in the Cape League. Payoff pitch. He twirls a changeup and gets Oviedo swinging. So Shavers is stranded at second base. Kettleers only get 1 hit, and we're still tied up at 3 going into the final frame. You're listening to Cotuit Kettleers Baseball on the Cape Cod Baseball Network. Into the final frame. It's the top of the 9th. Nick Swinney out for his 2nd inning of work. He'll get the 9-hitter Shea Whitcomb. Then the top of the order, Zach Daniels and Zach Kokoska. Whitcomb 0 for 1 with a pair of walks today. Infielder out of UC San Diego, designated hitter today though. Swings through a first pitch fastball, 91 on the gun from the left-handed pitching Swinney, and it's 0-1. Swinney working out of the windup. The glove high, kicks and deals. Popped up into the infield. Shallow right field it carries, and Robinson calls off the second baseman Gonzalez and comes in and makes the grab. So a quick out for Swinney in the top of the ninth. And it'll flip things over to the top of the order, Zach Daniels, who's responsible for tying this ball game up. He had a 2-run triple in the top of the seventh and ended up scoring the tying run, tagging up on that controversial play at the plate. So Daniels is just 1 for 4, but came up huge in the seventh. Can he come up big again here in the ninth? First pitch fastball, swings right through it. 0-1.
The most impressive thing about that Daniels at bat with the 2-run triple is that he did it with 2 strikes. He got down the count early, was fooled by Kyle Nicholas on a fastball and a slider, but then made an adjustment to come up with a clutch hit.
The 0-1 pitch. Curveball bends back into the strike zone, 0-2. He did a great job of just flicking that thing into right center, and it carried all the way on a roll to the wall. That's the thing when you got a hard thrower like Kyle Nicholas, you got to let him supply the power. You don't have to swing too hard, and that ball will bounce off the bat. Wood or metal, it doesn't even matter. So when he steps off, he wants another sign. As shadows start to cast on the field, might be a little bit harder to get that sign from his catcher, Pasek. But he's ahead 0-2 to the right-handed hitting Zach Daniels. The 0-2 blows a fastball by him. Strike 3. 2 quick outs here in the top of the ninth for Nick Swinney.
Good stuff from Swinney to go upstairs and climb the ladder. That's where Daniels had been vulnerable today. It's his 3rd strikeout at the plate, Daniels, and a good job by Swinney to try and work a quick start to this inning.
So Zach Kokosko will come to the plate. Has one of the 3 hits of the ball game for the Firebirds. Also added a sac fly, RBI in the 7th to tie the ball game up. Curveball bends onto the corner, strike 1. Kokoska hits from the left side against the southpaw Swinney. On deck is Max Troiani. Or Tanner Murray, rather, on deck, the 3-hitter. Just 3 hits on the ball game for the Firebirds, but that's all they needed to tie this game up at 3. Fastball gets the corner, 91 again from Swinney, and he's ahead 1-2. The 1-2 pitch. Curveball lined into center field for a base hit. Cam Hill fields it on a hop and throws it in back to the infield, but Zach Kokoska will extend this inning on his 2nd single of the ball game, and Tanner Murray will look for his first hit of the ball game with 2 outs in the top of the ninth.
Kokoska has quietly had a pretty good day at the plate for Orleans. He has not struck out in 5 plate appearances. 2 hits, 1 an infield hit, the one right there, and then the RBI sac fly that tied up the game in the 7th.
And this could be the last chance for the Firebirds. As the sun begins to set, shadows take over the field here at Lowell Park, and of course no lights. Rarely go into extra innings here. But if the Kettleers will get their last chance to hit and try and end the ball game in the bottom of the ninth. Swinney tries to keep it tied here, 2 outs. Kokoska on first, and the 3-hitter Tanner Murray at the plate awaiting the first pitch. Pickoff over to first base. He's back easily. Uncharacteristic day for Tanner Murray, a pair of strikeouts. We mentioned earlier in the ball game, he only struck out 15 times in nearly 200 at-bats at UC Davis. The first pitch, swing and miss on a changeup. Swinney quickly getting ahead of all 4 batters he's faced so far this inning.
He's looked a lot sharper than his first outing, that's for sure.
Just his 2nd outing of the summer for the Kettleers. Another late arrival. He comes set at his chest, takes a look over at Kokoska, kicks and deals. Weak swing, it's looped off behind first base. And a nice grab over the shoulder by McWhorter. So we'll go into the bottom of the ninth. Can the Kettleers end this ball game? We're tied 3-3. You're listening to Cotuit Kettleers Baseball on the Cape Cod Baseball Network. Last call for Cotuit here in the bottom of the 9th as the sun begins to set here at Lowell Park. Araja New, Cody Pasek, and Mason McWhorter. Then Cam Hill, if any of them are able to reach base. And they'll try and end this ball game and leave Orleans on the field. First pitch to a New. Changeup, wave and a miss. Hobbs pitched a scoreless inning in his first inning of work. Back out for his second. Another changeup. This one dives away. 1-1. That's been the scouting report on a New. He's gotten a steady diet of those changeups and soft off speed away. Has not quite been able to adjust so far. And this ball game did have the one hit though that drove in 2. That was on a fastball. He checks his swing. Is able to hold up, so it's 2-1. You know a New can hit the fastball. We've seen it all year long. But as the scouting report's gone out, Sam, the off speed's been giving him trouble. The 2-1 pitch. Popped up into shallow left. Coming in is Toriani. Camps under and makes the grab. So a quick out here in the bottom of the 9th. And that'll bring up Cody Pasek. Of course, Pasek came in for Colton Kessler in the 5th inning when he fouled one off of his toe. Looked like he was in a great amount of pain. Had to be helped off the field by his teammate Cam Hill and trainer Craig Moody. We hope he's okay. Pasek had to come in and inherit an 0-2 count. Fought back and hit a single. First pitch, misses down and in, 1-0. Pasek, the catcher from Maine. Done a good job this year so far. Takes the 1-0 for his strike. It's 1-1. Pasek was hitting .333 coming into the ball game. He's 1 for 2 today. 1-1. Line just fouled on the third base line. Fastball crowded him a little bit. He shakes his head as he thought he could have driven that one in fair territory. That'll be a strike. It's 1-2. Mason McWhorter, who made his Kettleers debut today, waits on deck. The 1-2. Spoiled away foul and into the parking lot. Just avoids some cars and rolls all the way onto Lowell Avenue. So it remains 1-2. Out of the windup is Michael Hobbs. Slow leg kick. He pauses, then he steps off. He actually started his windup there, and mid-windup stepped off. That'd be a balk if anyone was on base, but of course you don't go out of the windup with people on base, so I guess you have discretion to do whatever you want.
Yeah.
Not sure what made Hobbs stop there. Pasek looked a little confused as he stepped out, but we'll do 1-2 now. This time he comes through the motion. 1-2, a good swing by Pasek to spoil it away. So a nice little battle. Cody Pasek's able to stay alive. He spoiled a trio of pitches with 2 strikes from the pitcher Hobbs, who works out of the windup. A real slow windup in delivery. A leg kick, the 1-2. Another line ball just foul over to third base. We'll do 1-2 again. McWhorter on deck is 0 for 3. Looking for his first hit as a Kettleer. Pasek still alive. Battling with the pitcher Hobbs. Kicks and deals the 1-2 again. Able to lay off a curveball. 2-2, a great at-bat here by Cody Pasek.
Really good at-bat. If he can find a way to get on, there's a lot of pressure on Orleans.
Sky begins to come an orangish color. Beautiful out beyond the trees. But not a good sign if you want extra innings here at Lowell Park. The 2-2 misses just high, and we're full.
I think Orleans would be really satisfied to get out of here with a tie, given they've only hit the ball 4 times today and scored all their runs in the 7th. And given their tough start against Jonah Haas.
Orleans has never led in this ball game. Only tied it up at 3, and a line drive into center field off the bat of Pasek. Coming in is Daniels, and he makes the grab. But a great at-bat by Pasek, and got a good piece on that 3-2 pitch. Well, he'll have nothing to show for it. And that makes Mason McWhorter the last chance for Cotuit to try and come out of here with anything other than a tie.
Not a bad effort from Pasek. Just hit it into short center field, and Daniels has a lot of speed, able to come in and get that ball.
So McWhorter, a guy who we know has power, 12 home runs at Georgia Southern. Looking for his first hit as a Kettleer. He takes a first pitch changeup, bites out of the strike zone, 1-0. The right fielder, Kokoska, playing a little bit shaded towards center. A big gap down the line in right field. The 1-0 pitch. This curveball comes down into the strike zone. It's 1-1.
Yeah, if McWhorter is able to pull one down that right field line, he's got a guaranteed double, maybe even a triple.
Cam Hill waits on deck, the 9-hitter, if McWhorter can extend this ball game. He lines one right up the middle, and it looks like it'll be a base hit. It is. So McWhorter keeps this ball game going, and what we assume will probably be the last inning. And Cam Hill will try to end this ball game for the Kettleers. McWhorter the runner on first now, 2 outs.
Well, if you're Orleans, you want to try and prevent against a double. A double might be able to score the run if McWhorter is able to get a good enough jump if you're Cam Hill at the plate.
Cam Hill singled in his first at-bat. Had a fielder's choice in his second and struck out swinging in his third. First pitch fastball misses away, 1-0.
Really, the objective for Hill is to just extend the ball game, flip it back to the top of the order. You got Robinson on deck, who hasn't gotten a hit in 4 at-bats, but he's made some decent contact, and of course Gonzalez waiting behind him.
If you could somehow get Gonzalez up, that's the objective for the Kettleers, and now he falls behind 2-0 does Hobbs. So Cam Hill way ahead.
Winning run at first, and you're going to get a pitch to drive here with a 2-0 count.
Hill steps out. We'll see if Coach Roberts goes for a pinch hitter, or pinch runner rather, for McWhorter at first, and he will. The pinch runner is Dante Williams. Of course, a major speed upgrade there at first. Williams, one of the fastest players on this Kettleer team, if not the fastest. We were waiting to see if Coach Roberts would go to the pinch runner. Finally does. That means McWhorter's day is over if this game could keep going past 9. So the speedster Dante Williams takes over at first base. It's 2-0 to the 9-hitter Cam Hill. Out of the stretch, Hobbs kicks and deals. A curveball, a check swing from Cam Hill. Did he go? He did not go, says Dave Vieros, who's behind the pitcher's mound towards second base. A pretty tough spot to make a call on a check swing. But with the left-handed hitting Hill, of course, the first base umpire, Rick Emerson, can't make that call, and it's the only other guy that Rivera can defer to. So way ahead 3-0 is Cam Hill, likely taking all the way here. And this time he's able to throw a strike, and Hobbs makes it 3-1. Hill still ahead 3-1. Christian Robinson on deck. Dante Williams, a pinch runner on first base. The 3-1 misses away. Ball 4. So first and second. Williams, the runner in scoring position, and Christian Robinson, the leadoff hitter, comes to the plate. And we'll have a quick conference at the mound.
Kelly Nicholson has had activity in his bullpen out in right field for a little bit. I think you might want a new pitcher here.
And he does. He goes to the bullpen. We'll see who the new pitcher is. We do know it's a righty for the left-handed hitting Christian Robinson, so that's good news for him. And with the pitching change, it's safe to assume this will be the end of the ball game here, regardless of what happens. We'll go to a quick break, and And we'll have more on the pitcher when we come back. You're listening to Cotuit Kettleers Baseball on the Cape Cod Baseball Network. The new pitcher for Orleans with 2 outs here in the bottom of the 9th, 2 men on. It's Nick Garcia from Chapman University, Division III school out in California. He was dominant out there. He was the closer for Chapman. 12 saves and 30 appearances, a .64 ERA. Struck out 82 in 56 innings pitched. One of the few Division III guys out here. It's always nice to see, of course, Richard Brereton on this Kettleers ball club from Emory University, another Division III guy that's had some success early here in the Cape League.
Garcia's numbers don't lie. Those are really good numbers at any level. 82 strikeouts in 56 innings, 12 saves and 30 appearances. He gets the job done when he's called upon, and this is Kelly Nicholson's stopper out of the back end of the bullpen, trying to preserve a tie. Cotuit with a chance to win it, and what an opportunity it would be with the top of the order due up. Gonzalez and then Robinson gets the first crack at it. You got the winning run at second with Dante Williams, a pinch runner. Really anything into the outfield that's a base hit could score it. Williams speedy enough to come on home from second base. This is going to be fun. It only takes one for either side, either one hit for the Kettleers or one out for Orleans.
And this is the 4th appearance for the Firebirds for Nick Garcia. He's given up a pair of runs in 3 innings. So we'll see if Christian Robinson can leave the Firebirds on the field. Dante Williams, the runner on second. Cam Hill, the runner on first. Of course, Williams, the only one that really matters. And Christian Robinson will look for his first hit of the ball game. He's 0 for 4. Had a pair of hits against Chatham. Nick Gonzalez waits on deck and promise you the Kettleers really want to somehow get him to the plate if Christian Robinson can't end the ball game. First pitch fastball misses up and out. And it's getting pretty dark here at Lowell Park. It's got to be tough to pick the ball up if you're Christian Robinson. Williams a pretty good lead off of second base. Garcia comes set, kicks and deals the 1-0. And it hits him. We'll see if it hit the knob or his hand. The call is a foul ball. It hit off of Robinson's knob. A tough break for the Kettleers. He thought for a second there you might have the bases loaded for Nick Gonzalez, one of the best hitters, if not the best hitter, on this Cotuit Kettleers team.
That was a close ball right there, but it got the knob, 1-1.
Regardless, 2 wild pitches there from Garcia. We'll see if he can recapture the strike zone, 1-1. He just gets the inside corner. The Kettleers are 1 strike away from a tie, but a base hit away from a win. As you mentioned, Nick Gonzalez on deck. Robinson rests the bat on his shoulder, awaits the 1-2 from Garcia. He comes set at the shoulders. Kicks and deals the 1-2. Swing and a miss, strike 3. And we'll see if they call the ball game. It likely will be called. We'll hang on for a minute here as the umpires converse. Rarely play extra innings here at Lowell Park. It is getting a bit dark here.
Looks like Mike Roberts.
And they'll call the ball game. Tom Rivera says it's too dark. Let's end it in a tie. And it's a tough one for the Kettleers, who led a majority of the game, never trailed. But they do come away with a point with the Cape Cod point system. It'll be 3 runs on 8 hits by the Kettleers, 3 runs on just 4 hits by the Firebirds, and a 3-3 tie here at Lowell Park. We'll have a game wrap up and a little bit more when we come back on the Cape Cod Network. You're listening to Cotuit. It's that, a tie after 9 innings. As the sun sets at Lowell Park. A tough one for the Kettleers as they never trailed in the ball game. Led 3-0 at one point. Ended up surrendering 3 runs in the 7th. Kyle Nicholas was on the bump. He walked 4 in an inning of 2/3. Only gave up 1 hit, but that 1 hit plated 2. And then a sac fly tied it up. That hit came off the bat of Zach Daniels, a triple. His only hit of the ball game. And then Zach Kokoska hit a sac fly to left field. A great play by Parker Shavers to make the throw to home. And we're still talking about that off the air. Cody Pasek really thought he got him there on the tag. It was a bang-bang play. That ended up being the difference in this ball game. If he's tagged out, Kettleers probably win 3-2. Instead, we come away with a tie on that borderline call at home plate.
That's the play that everybody's going to talk about on the ride home from this one. It was a bang-bang play. Tom Ryberg, the home plate umpire, had the best view of it. He was right on top of it. Throw from Shavers was a little bit to the left of the plate, so Pasek had to slide back to try and make that tag, but the ruling ultimately scored Daniels, and that made it a 3-3 game, and you credit the Orleans offense for finding a way to produce 3 runs on just 1 hit in the 7th inning. The walks by Nicholas didn't help, and it's ironic because the Kettleers were so dominant on the mound to begin with Joe Nahas. 10 strikeouts in 4 innings. Couldn't ask for anything better than that, but then walks down the stretch. They started to creep in when Beck Way came in the 5th, and then it came to a T when Nicholas was in the 7th. Orleans tied the ball game, and there was not much more offense to be had after that. You just wish Cotuit would have capitalized with 2 runners on to potentially win it in the bottom of the 9th.
When you talk about Joe Nahas, he's been dominant all summer long so far, but this was by far his best performance. 10 strikeouts, as you mentioned, only gave up the 1 hit, only walked 1 in 4 innings. Thought he might go a 5th or 6th, ends up getting his night ended at 4. Makes sense, he hasn't started much before. But what a tone setter in Joe Nahas. Beck Way was okay, not too bad in an inning in the 3rd, but you mentioned he started to lose control, and coach ultimately pulled him. As for the Kettleers offense, cut down on the strikeouts today. Just 6 of them, which is a moral victory with 108 going into this ball game in just 9 games, or 11 games rather. But Christian Robinson finished the game. He left Dante Williams and Cam Hill on 1st and 2nd. And that ended up being the last chance for the Kettleers as we called this game in the bottom of the 9th. But some standout performers. Nick Gonzalez again just keeps the ball rolling. 2 hits. He scored twice, a double and a single. Casey Schmidt had a single and a walk. Cody Pasek had a nice single after inheriting an 0-1 count. And Cam Hill also had a single and a walk. Mostly of a pitcher's duel today. And a tough ball game all around for the Kettleers. A tough pill to swallow when you lead it most of the game. Adam Simonaris was good to start the game for Orleans and show exactly how good this Orleans staff is. but they were able to get to Cam Fields and score those 2 insurance runs on an Araja New 2-run triple, but ultimately squandered that lead, and we tied it up 3-3, and that's how we'll finish. As for the next ball game, of course, tomorrow we got the early Fenway shift, but really excited about that. We got to be at the bus at 6 a.m. We'll be doing the pro showcase over at Fenway Park for the players. It's always a great experience. That'll be the pseudo off day, as we've lost so many off days with all of the rain we've had in the Cape. Then we'll go into Friday at Orleans. So we'll get another crack at this ball game against Orleans. This was a good one today, and from what you've told me, Sam, this is your second year here. It's always crazy in Orleans.
I'm telling you, if you are listening right now or if you are watching right now, get to Mixlr.com/Cotuit Broadcasting for Friday Night in the Jungle. It is going to be electric at Eldridge Park, one of the classic parks in all of the Cape Cod League. And we're going to be really excited to have you along with us for that one. It'll be good for the Kettleers to go on the road. Crazy stuff happens every time the Kettleers play Orleans. Another, I guess, kind of wacky chapter added to it today with a tie and a 3-run 7th by Orleans on that sac fly play. But it's going to be fun on Friday. And a great chance for Mike Roberts' side to go up against a team that they've already seen once this week. Hopefully the legs will be fresh after the Fenway workout, because this is about to be a gauntlet stretch for the Kettleers. 23 consecutive games of baseball after the Fenway workout on Thursday. 3 rain makeups scheduled on the 3 off days, on the Mondays after all the weather that's passed through. Let's hope that we can just go 23 in a row, maybe for better or for worse. There probably will be some sort of weather delay in there at some point, I'm betting, just given the way that things are trending. But 23 games in a row, and it starts at Eldridge Park. It's going to be a big test for Cotuit to try and pick themselves up after a flat performance at the plate and not a good finishing performance on the mound today.
And you mentioned the flat performance. It's been a tough go coming into this game, hitting 154 in their last 5 ball games. Of course, Orleans, one of the best pitching staff so far this season in the Cape. So it's a tough go when you're struggling already at the plate to then come in and face one of the best pitching staffs. But the Kettleers were able to score enough runs, and the pitching ended up being what caused the tie. So we'll get ready for tomorrow. We'll have some fun early in the morning at Fenway, and then join us on Mixlr from Orleans. Of course, we'll be on Mixlr for the rest of the season. We apologize for the back and forth. Mixlr was down for a little bit there, almost a week. They are back up, and hopefully for good, and we will be on that platform from here on out. So the final score is 3-3, a tie between Cotuit and Orleans. Ended up being called because it got dark here at Lowell Park with no lights. For Sam Niederman, I'm Aram Layton, and the entire Cotuit Kettleers broadcast booth. We'll see you in Orleans. Thank you very much for listening.